Yeah.
And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys. Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
Those
those
guys.
guys.
And it is working apparently
So
because
what's
I
good?
just saw it go on the screen. I'm still in the same chat.
Well,
So maybe you needed to call them and curse them out to
well,
get
I
this
mean,
working.
I did
And we
everything.
are live.
Wednesday night with
See,
those
see,
guys. Wednesday.
see.
You know, it's funny. I muted it before. I did what you said to go into. Man, listen, I should have just left
Yeah.
it the way it
I listen, I already know. I already know.
was.
I
No, but
already know that those of you who don't understand, if there's a way to figure out how it don't work, Herman could probably figure that out. I'm
uh,
just saying, you told me that and I didn't believe that, but some of the things over the
telling
last few
you,
years that you've come up, and I just got your alert in my phone and on the computer at the same exact time.
like how these guys come out with these new cell phones and stuff like that, with all
Yeah,
these features. Give me the
they
phone.
should
I'll
let
find
you.
the.
They should give you one to test out.
Give me the phone. I'll find the bugs.
Hey, Welsh Rob, how are you? What's up? Classic was here
Well,
number one.
well, you see, with a lot of those type of things, once you turn on all of the features, you realize that they can't coexist on a lot of those devices, and that's where you start picking off where the problems start.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they have to change things and optimize things to work properly in that configuration.
I know what you're saying because right now I have this LG V60. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a dual screen and everything, but right now I have it set up for the single screen,
Mm-hmm.
and it shoots beautiful 4K. I mean, when heard that this thing shot 4K and I got to play with it in the store, when I
Uh-huh.
got it, I was like, I can do a lot of work with this. But you want to know what?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
TikTok, Twitter, and a lot of places don't let you upload 4K.
Oh,
And when you upload stuff in 4K on Facebook, everyone sees it in 360, and then when it's 4K, no one wants to see it, which
how
is
is
kind of.
everyone this evening? Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys.
What's up, Welsh Rob? What's up, Classic? I see the lurkers out there
Classic,
jumping
Welsh
in.
Bob.
Dave
Hey,
Innes,
Dave
how are
Ennis,
you,
what's good,
sir?
man?
Hello, Dave Innes. Hope
Doing
all is well on your end of the world. Welsh Rob, I'm glad you're here. Cool flying video. Thank you much. I promise this year in FPV, I'm going to surprise a few people because everyone's like, oh, you do the cruising, you cruising. You know why I do the cruising? Because I'm learning how to fly it first. After I learn how to fly it and learn what it does at top speeds and stuff like that, then I'll get into trying to learn a few tricks here and there. But I'm not going to be like one of these guys that be out there like flip, 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 flip. And then you see them cover for a while and it's flip, 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 flip. You know, I, and there's nothing wrong with it because that's freestyle. And I just, you
mm,
don't see a lot of that from me. I may combine some,
okay.
but
I'm good, Rob. Can't complain. Not today.
this is true. This is true. I much prefer the cruising videos. Well, I appreciate it. Um, I'm actually working thanks to Justin for soldering my motors. He always solders my power distribution board, my motors, because I can't solder that good yet. But thanks to him, I've got my 7 inch up and running. The problem is,
Mhm.
Herman, you're an electrician. That's what I need. I can ask you. I don't know if you know this particular part, but it's a 6 pin plug that I need that's about 5 or 6 inches long. I think it's 6 inches that I need. Now, every RC shop that I know sells this pin. In fact, I'm gonna go run and grab it, but they sell this pin with the plug on one end and raw on the other.
Mhm.
And they say you're not supposed to modify a plug. It's supposed to come plug to plug. And I'm almost at the verge of cutting some wires and wiring a plug and soldering the wires and securing them with hot glue or whatever. I'm at that point.
Do you have the plug that you need for it to solder
Thanks, Logan
onto, or
Carpenter.
you're just going to solder on some arbitrary plug?
Well, see,
Does it fit? Is it a 6-pin plug? Because you can't have any of the wires touch. You got to connect them.
I know, but what I would have to do is see what the problem is. This GPS here, this is the wire.
Uh-huh.
It comes up just short
Okay.
of where I need to plug it in. Now,
Right.
I was told not to put plugs on here, but this 6-pin plug plugs into exactly what I want it to plug into, and it'll give me the extra wire that I need.
Mm-hmm.
But I was told you can't do that to get a pigtail,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's got to be a pigtail on the other end. And I just haven't been able to find any.
Hold on a second.
Tom's having an issue coming in, I think, or
I don't know.
he's still in makeup, but I see his picture there.
They're saying you can't splice the wire.
They went right. They
You can't butt splice it either.
Yeah, but
You got
that
to get a whole new
I have to get a
cable
whole
for it.
pigtail from 6-pin here
Mm-hmm.
to here. Now the problem is what I don't understand. They don't want you to splice the wire, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way these wires are laid out,
Mm-hmm.
each one does a specific thing, and the pin out that plugs into my
Mm-hmm.
flight controller
Mm-hmm.
is also wired different.
Okay.
So it means I may have to move this wire over here, move this one over here, just to fit this particular pin. But I'll figure it out. Hopefully, I'll
What
find
you
one
got to
somewhere.
get is that cable, because you can't extend it. It has to be straight.
Yes, it has to be solid through because it's the GPS, and you don't want splicing in your GPS module. You want it to be one solid connection to where it has to go. At least that's what Hadley told me. But you're right, Logan. It is less worry on you for crashing, but you still crash because you have what they call scragglers and stuff like that. You may see a gap here, but as you get closer, all of a sudden at 50, 60, 40 miles per hour, that scraggle bush comes out of nowhere and goes, come here. So you still have a risk of crashing cruising, trust me. Or you're cruising and you know it looks real nice and you try to get that much lower to the sand, and all of a sudden you have a carpal tunnel moment in your thumb and one of your wings or your prop clips the dirt and it's like
You mean that grass that just comes up and
yeah. Or there's right, exactly. There's a blade of grass with a piece of wood stuck in it. I don't know maybe Tom is still in makeup.
yeah, I think he might be having a problem with the coming in because his audio is off.
I see, the audio off, and I see the picture loading. When you're going to see some new videos from you.
Hello, gents.
Oh,
No,
Rob,
sorry.
To answer
got
that question there,
A
Rob.
late call.
Oh, okay.
No problem, Tom.
To answer that question, Rob, I'm walking with a cane, but there's certain things that I just can't do. I can't pivot off the foot. I can't certain things. So to get out there walking and holding the camera and doing the things that I would like to do, I can't. But you might see something next week. I got a little bit of footage from,
but I'm waiting for him to get back up and running too, because we were known for meeting somewhere and then going flying. And then once Herman had the operation, I was like, well, hey, no, it's not still a test, Brand Aerials. Yeah, we were testing earlier. For those of you who may have gotten alert that Phantom Flight 101 was live, we were just testing something. Well, Tom, they seem to have fixed the issue. Or at least they didn't do it until Herman cursed them out.
Well,
Herman, a mover and a shaker.
I'm telling them that I have this problem. I'm not getting any response from them. They get the emails, the same thing that they sent me the first time when I was having the problem, and I did what they told me to do, but it wasn't allowing me to do that again this time. So I'm like, well, I'm done. And so when I call, they tell me, oh, well, they don't do technical support because of the coronavirus for people who are not admin of companies with accounts. So I had to have a corporate account and be the admin of that to be able to speak to their technical support. Everything had to be done via, the email or text message, whatever you want to call it. So I got tired of it, and I use a few foul, fear, and flu words. And
And they sent them a link.
After
sent them a link.
Lawrence's stream the other day, when I was shut off, Zoom updated and seems to work now.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's going to work on my end, or do I have to call them and say I know Herman so they can send me a link?
Well, I can tell you some of the words they use.
That could work against you too.
Yeah,
So,
I know, right?
okay.
What's going on,
Yeah.
Tom?
You want to make sure it's not like the airlines where you get barred for life. Okay.
Well,
And
they're
you
still
get
taking
barred
the
from the
money.
airline, right? I won't say who it is, but I have a family member that got barred from going into Social Security offices. She can no longer go into a Social Security office unless she calls and makes an appointment.
Calls ahead of time. Yep.
Why?
Yeah, because
Just flipped out on them?
He,
you know what happens when you threaten a city employee now.
You
You get
city
barred.
employee. That's federal, man.
have you ever been down to the Social Security office?
Dude, I've been down there, but I've never gotten banned.
Yeah. They kind of talk to
Yeah.
you sideways to get you kind of like,
but
kind of
realize
yeah.
the reason they talk to you sideways is because they got you by the short hairs. Okay.
No, I got that.
Now,
Okay.
now the thing is to be self-aware and understand it's the short hairs they're tugging on. So react properly. Okay. Stay calm.
Well,
Whenever somebody's writing you a check, it's always better to stay calm until the ink dries, right? Okay.
You have a valid point. Hey, what's up, Bill? How are you, coast to coast?
I went down there about some business, and the lady kind of talked to me sideways. And when I looked at her like, why are you talking to me like this? She's like, why are you looking at me like I put you to the back of the line? Excuse me,
Waiting
security?
for you. Waiting.
Yeah, I
waiting.
then turn around and I do the oh man, you really having a bad day. I understand. I couldn't even imagine what it's like being on that other side of the counter and having to deal with all these people. That's a tough life, but whatever help you can give me, I really appreciate.
Hey,
And
Night
just try to
Train,
sap
what's
the
good,
shit
brother?
out of them until they freaking help you. You go with whatever strategy seems to fit at the time. It's being
Right,
situationally aware.
when in Rome, you
Okay.
become Roman, pretty
But
much.
you got to be woke first. You got to
I got out.
you got to be aware of your
I got
surroundings
through.
before that's the problem. You see some people get bipolar in these situations, and it's like, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work for you. Okay. They're going to be calling a bus for your ass and say, hey, you got to transport the CDP to Bellevue.
Because
Okay.
you're not going to win that.
Yeah.
No, you never win those. That's the
Acting crazy
problem.
like you're
You
going to
never
dive
win
over the
those.
counter.
Listen, think about
Any-
it. You think about it. You have the board security guard that's used to seeing Lala or whoever walk through the door once a month, but then they're waiting to pounce on somebody just so they could file a complaint or file paperwork to keep them standing there all freaking 8 hours.
Well, look, if in the commission of your duties you hurt yourself, then you have to go on workers' comp. Okay, so.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
all I can say is that I go to these
But then
places.
again, you gotta be careful. Nothing scares me more
The
than
workers'
private
comp?
security.
Oh,
Okay?
Yeah.
Nothing scares me more.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if anybody's in the chat and you have to work in that business. I apologize, but
top
private
flight?
security, usually you run into frustrated wannabes. Okay.
Mall cops.
Who don't have the authority but believe they have even more than what they don't have. Okay. So and wield it in a draconian manner. So I mean, that's who you got to be careful of.
This is true. You're right about that. So how's everyone in the chat? What's going on? I hope your week is going good so far. And it's hump day.
Mm-hmm.
No, they got rid of the commercials. I used to love those commercials.
Oh, that's the best. Come on. Geico's got some of the stupidest and best commercials.
Right. That's why they were good. But it's hump day.
Well, it's actually the insurance companies are trying to outdo themselves with stupid commercials. I mean, it's really gone down that route. I mean, Liberty Mutual. But then remember, Liberty Mutual is a Geico company.
That was funny.
They're a subsidiary
They are wholly owned
or
by
umbrella
Geico.
or
Yeah, no. You log into Geico, you're in Liberty Mutual also.
okay. See, I didn't know that.
Well, think about it this way: Geico needed their own home insurance, so they could offer you those bundles, and where
Right.
Allstate and Travelers had that, Geico.
Right.
Remember Geico was just Rob, I didn't get a haircut. I'm just going bald, dude. Okay, it's the lighting. I got to bring the lighting down a bit.
It's the
okay?
lighting, dude.
Yeah, it's the lighting. I got to keep, the lighting off the top of the head. But you know what? It's Geico used to be just government employees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
But I do get a kick out of the one with the Liberty Mutual one where he's a cell phone and then he gets wet and he jumps into the big bag of rice.
Big bag of
Yeah.
rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That
need
one was
to bury him. He needs to dig down a little more. But I understand it's hard with that suit on.
You see,
was-
there's several companies, several large companies that have bailed from the Super Bowl ads.
Yeah.
Budweiser being one after 30 something. Yeah.
Well, you know what? So yeah, Budweiser will not come out with their traditional, Clydesdale type of commercial.
Right.
They'll still
They're giving their
advertise for
time.
Bud.
They're
They're still
donating
gonna-
their time.
Right. They're still going to advertise for Bud Light and I forget which other brand they have, but they won't be doing their annual Clydesdale commercial. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
heard that.
Pepsi's also out.
Well, there's a couple of them.
Yeah, several of them deciding that, it's not the right time to spend the money that way to find other areas to sign it.
Yeah. Well, if they focus when the light hits, look like a solar
There you go,
panel.
buddy. Yeah. Now I can change that up. Hold on a second. Let's see what the Kelvin
Welsh
scale
Rob's
brings us
Welsh
here.
Rob's messing with.
He's getting he's getting
He's-
inappropriate with me. It sounds like he's.
What's up, Stevie?
Hey, what's
See,
going on,
we've
fellas?
all been locked down. We've all been locked down way too long now. Okay, that's a little too cold. That light. That's a combo.
Oh,
Eh,
shit.
There you go.
I
I'm on
look.
fire right here.
I'm not. I have Minnesota white and lobster red, nothing in between. So, right now it's wintertime and I'm so wet, I'm almost transparent. So that's why I go with the warmer color on the lighting. Okay. Hey, Stevie, you picked the
Going on.
wrong shirt today for the green screen, bro.
Uh-huh.
You
Oh,
are-
shoot.
You're almost headless, dude.
No
Yeah.
blue, no blue.
Yep.
Stevie,
Yeah.
what happened to you, Stevie?
Hold on one second.
He's
Like, we
fading
switch it up.
away.
Water didn't work.
He's fading away.
Scotty,
I'll
Scotty,
be right
get him
back.
back. Scotty, get
Lucky-
him back, Scotty.
Lucky thing I didn't wear the hat.
Come on, Scotty, work that transporter.
Oh,
You
man.
hear Rob? You hear Tom? Welsh Rob says you're a good guy.
There
We
you go.
we
you
appreciate that, Welsh Rob, and we
Oh, always
appreciate
Welsh
you
Rob.
guys
Thanks,
every
brother.
time you come back
Thanks,
to the
man.
streams
Yeah.
because it's
I,
not easy sitting here in front of the camera for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, there are people who do it, but we try to keep you guys
we try to have
interested,
fun.
seriously, because
Yeah,
that's what it's
We
all
try to have
about.
fun.
but we do give a little
NDP, yeah, no,
little
I
here
mean a
and there
minute.
on what's going on in the world.
So Newfound Drone Productions goes. He spent an hour and a half to do a 1.5 minute of video. That's very efficient, by the way, because that's
Yeah.
not the standard. Okay, it's usually an hour to like 15 to 20 seconds worth.
I was
of,
going to say an hour
footage,
usually
okay?
gets you a 30-second
So-
video,
You're being extremely efficient there.
especially if you're using Adobe Adobe
Oh, Premiere.
period.
Yeah.
Premiere,
Premiere.
yeah. I mean, just to do a transition, you have to create it, and then it's a lot of work. I see people that use it all the time, but I try to get into it, and just to do a 30-second video was taking me 3 days.
Well, see,
I
that's
was like, something's wrong here because I wasn't too familiar with it. But see, now, Stevie, you're not floating anymore.
But that's
There
what I was
you go.
telling you, Lawrence. I just used the Filmora because a 30-second clip it doesn't take me that long, a few minutes to do. It's
Yeah,
it's 3
I
minutes that
agree.
it takes long.
I agree, but I was trying to teach myself. You remember I had a version of Premiere, and I was
Mhm.
literally trying to teach myself, and I had
still have
video
it.
clips set up, but had no transitions. I'm looking for transitions, and then I found out you have to create your transitions. So then I got into that, and I was like, wait a minute. That means if I want this transition here and a different transition, it's a lot of work. It's a
Mhm.
lot more work than I have the
So
patience for.
it's as much work as you want to put into it,
True,
Yes.
but
and
it's
it
also
shows in
as
the
much work
product at the end,
as
right?
I've had the patience for, Tom, and that's the difference.
Well, you know what? So there's a lot of stuff out there, right? There's Filmora. You got Adobe
Da
Premiere
Vinci, yeah,
Pro. DaVinci's another Freo you can get.
and Filmora has their pro version, very similar to Premiere.
They all do.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
any of the Freos out there have a pro version you can pay for, of course. Then, of course, I mean, if you're into photography at all, you should definitely have the photographer's bundle from Adobe, which is the Photoshop and
yeah,
Lightroom in one package. Okay. But if you need Premiere, then you're paying the full ride at almost $60 a month for the
yeah,
subscription.
yeah.
But that gives you everything. It doesn't get cheaper by just adding the one
Right,
more
it gives you
program
the
to it.
After Effects and everything else.
You
all
get
that
After Effects,
software.
you get everything,
Yeah.
soup to nuts, right? Now that's $60 a freaking month. Now, so what other options are there? You have Final Cut. Okay, so with Final Cut, you're putting down a few bucks, but I don't believe there's a subscription model there anymore. I think it's you bought it and you get the upgrades. Pinnacle's another one people often overlook. Okay, Pinnacle's up to version 24 now.
Yeah, I was
Pinnacle
just
Pro Ultimate.
typing. I was just letting them know. 4 years ago I started with Pinnacle. My neighbor had like version 4 or something,
Mm.
and I remember he had like seven CDs.
No,
Okay.
now
It
Pinnacle
just-
is all. Yeah, Pinnacle is just a download now. I
Yeah,
think it's like
most of it is.
79. Look, if you've ever owned Pinnacle ever,
Mhm.
okay, you can get the new Pinnacle 24 Ultimate for I think $79.
Tom,
And I
didn't
think
know
that comes.
nothing about editing.
I think that comes with a 5-year download protection, so you can always download it again.
Okay, because
But that's a pretty extensive I mean, you know what? That's a lot of canned stuff right out of the box you can apply to it. So
right,
that's an easy edit.
yeah, Pinnacle was pretty easy to learn how to use. I
Yeah.
didn't have any problems with it, but
It's
like I
got all
said,
the features to it. Also, you
I
can
had
even do
version
color
4.
grading now in it and all.
Yeah, well, the thing is when you switch that learning curve, like when you get so
Yeah.
familiar with a software, and then
Yeah.
you find out about this one, and
Hey, Global.
even if you hear that it's easier to do it here,
Mhm.
you're still gonna have to go through that basic learning
Mhm.
curve just to get to know the software.
But you know what that is,
You're
Stevie?
right.
It's
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
like switching cars, because the car has a stick shift. Either it's on most of them are in the center panel now, but back in the day they used to be in the neck of the car. It's a matter of where
3
the
speed on the
buttons
stick and
switches
an
are.
overdrive you pull out.
Yeah,
Right.
the Lambo's got the switches on the steering wheel. Click, 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 click.
Yep.
Yeah,
Paddle
yeah,
shifting. Now everybody's
right.
doing
The
that.
paddle
But
shifts. The
Yeah,
paddle
yeah, yeah.
Look,
They
look,
started
it's
on
whatever
the
you're
foreign
used to.
cars. Yeah, but it's
yeah,
still.
I mean,
I got really familiar with the software, and I
Mhm.
was getting to the point that I was comfortable enough to share my videos. This, in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then I switched,
Hey,
What's
Drum.
up, Edro?
and it was a while. Even though I had all this knowledge of editing, the software was everything was so different. The way you
The bells and whistles are in different
the
spots.
way you do the transitions and how you blend. So it's hard, no matter how easy the software
No,
it is.
yeah,
It's
I
still
agree.
the transition part is a pain, and it took me a while until I felt comfortable enough to share with the new software. You know what I'm saying? Like even though
Understandable.
it was rough.
And
Stevie,
remember with
when
the
I
product,
started-
Stevie, like Adobe, you can do the same thing
Hey, El
20,
Smeghead.
20 or 30 different ways.
Mhm.
You can go about something 20 or different 30 ways
That's true.
and still get to the same end result.
But
So
that's a lot of
Exactly.
these softwares too, because there's things that
Yeah.
I do on Filmora differently than how Lawrence does it. And I always
Right.
ask, well, why do you do it that way? And but
It's the way you
it's
know.
comfortable for him.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, it's
yeah.
the way you know.
But like
Yeah.
when I first started, I didn't have any software. I had an app on my tablet, and I had 2 tablets and a card reader. And I used to
JSK.
do this ridiculous thing of searching for
Yeah.
scenes on one and rearranging them in an app on the other tab.
Listen, if you saw how when I met Herman, how he was editing video, you would know why every now and then I call him Scratch Master.
So I
B.
would set up the controller for the drone with the tablets on it in front of me and sit there, and I would find the clip. That's the clip I want, and hit it and give it. Because one tablet could take the card reader, the other one couldn't. So I would watch the video on the other one and my clips and stuff. You know.
Edit right there, like you were DJing.
He was just
Right
working.
there.
it.
Had 2 tablets and his controller, and he was editing video.
He has
And-
headphones
and-
like.
What he was doing to edit the video.
Together, you can pull out the clip and rearrange them where you want them, all kind of stuff. I mean, wasn't that many tracks to choose from. Thank God I figured out how to do it and got some software. I was running out of music.
Wow.
All right,
the
we got a
music.
story, the first story of the day.
Well, actually, it's funny that you bring up the story right away, but Tom brought this to my attention. It was a swarm of monarch butterflies.
It happens every year.
By a spy in the wild.
Keep talking.
Yep.
Right.
And the sun starts to warm
And it
them.
heats up. Yeah.
Right.
It heats them up. They start to come to life.
Once
Now-
they reach about 50 degrees, they said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thing
Yeah.
that I
Now
thought
the
was
thing-
interesting, though, not to cut you off, Tom, but the reason why they're not afraid of this thing is because I believe the video was saying that they're
hummingbirds
used to them
drink
because
the same
hummingbirds are
nectar.
sap suckers as well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're used to them in that environment.
Right.
Yes. And they actually went to a great length to ensure that this hummingbird drone could not hurt the butterflies.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And if you notice, it has the little ducted screens over the.
Yeah. I'm
color.
gonna try and go back to that.
Yeah,
Let's
good
stop
shot.
the video. Now I gotta stop the
No.
video. We got
And then
Disclaimer.
unfortunately,
the views and opinions that are heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel tonight and or in the
Rest
chat.
in peace, the butterflies for the
but
documentary.
the swarm also caused the demise of the Phantom 4
Yeah. Right.
as it came hurtling to the
At
ground.
least
and,
one motor had
and-
a seize.
and DJI would not cover it with their new flyaway coverage. And by the way, guys, you like that segue?
Yeah.
I just want to touch upon that DJI just released a new program as part of their DJI Care program.
Was it $3.99?
No, well, get this, Stevie. Get this. You're not
What do
that
they got?
far off, Stevie. Okay.
What it
They
is.
are now offering current consumers of Mavic Airs,
Mhm.
okay, Mavic Air 2s, I mean, and Mavic Pros. There's a flyaway option now.
Mhm.
That's
still
already
have my
part of
Mavic
your
Pro.
DJI Care. No, it's not covered under. Believe me, your Mavic Pro doesn't have DJI Care anymore.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
It either
know.
so you know that the price tag for a I think it is for the first one you get replaced when you resubmit it on DJI Care refresh is like $79, and you get up to 2 of those. The second one is like $99. Well, now they have flyaway coverage. Like if you don't recover the drone, okay, the first flyaway is $299.
Oh, not far off. From all
Okay.
that.
Okay, and the second one is $399.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm not positive on those numbers. I saw them posted. In fact, I got an email from DJI. Hold on a second.
Okay.
That talked about the new flyaway, or at least I thought I saw. And now, think about it though. If you have, a $1,200 drone, and it flies away, and you can get another one for, $300. So that begs the question. Well, why don't I just get Allstate for $60 a year?
Yeah.
This
Because
is
it's not being
State-
offered everywhere anymore.
it's actually State Farms that does it for 60. I don't know about Allstate, but actually mine is due February 2nd.
Okay.
And
I paid mine already.
I usually I paid at the beginning of the year, but due to COVID, I've decided to wait. But mine is actually due by the 2nd, and they've been doing good. $60 a year, and both of my drones are covered. My Mavic Pro and my Phantom 4 Pro are covered. So I'm happy with that.
You see Newfound?
eDrone says waiting on DJI Fly app update to release for the S20 Plus. The S20 is available. It's going to take a while before they catch up on the S20, the Samsung S20, I believe you're talking about. Hey, what's up, Fly Guy Merrill? I have State Farm $45 a year. Damn.
Yeah. So DJI Care
said.
Refresh launches flyaway coverage. Enjoy flyaway free. So here's what it is. I'm sorry. This is on the DJI Mavic, DJI Mini 2 and the DJI Mavic Air. So on the Mini 2, accidental damage is $49 for the first, replacement drone, right?
Can I put a link for
damage.
what, Welsh Rob? What do you need a link for?
For this?
The
For
butterfly.
the DJI?
Which
He
one?
wants to see the butterflies.
Oh, the butterfly link. Yeah, I can do
Yeah,
that.
put the butterfly.
I think
link
I'll
up,
put that
definitely.
YouTube. I'll put that YouTube video right here.
And so for the DJI Mini 2, if you surrender the drone
There you
for
go.
repair, you'll get a
Welsh
replacement for $49.
Mhm.
A flyaway will cost you $225 for replacement.
The cover.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the coverage.
No, not that's not
No. I'm
what the coverage costs.
No. I'm
Okay.
actually.
Welsh
You're
Rob,
talking about that, and I was talking about something with Welsh Rob. I'm sorry.
Oh,
But listen
sorry.
to this. Newfound was saying something. Now, what happens if you could prove that the flyaway was, fault of the drone? You still got to pay
Yeah.
the fee?
Doesn't
Hey,
matter.
They don't
Corey.
care?
Yeah.
Wow.
but not to.
How you proving it?
to
How you
touch
proving it?
back to
No,
the-
don't
You don't
don't
have
you
the
get
drone?
the log?
The only way is the log.
You don't have the
They-
drone, dude.
Hey, Tom,
But,
can you put that link for DJI also? These guys can
Right
read
there,
that.
bro. Just
Well,
post
Good,
it.
Let's
Asgard
back on
Studios.
video with the butterfly.
I put the
Actually,
first
I
link is the
checked out
video with the
that,
butterfly.
That video, Tom, when you sent it to me, and it led me to some other things because we had spoke on those type of things once before when they were using the ducks in the water to test water sampling and stuff like that, and people noticing them in different parks. But what I was checking out was that with the PBS there, they were talking about how they use many different kinds of these animals in the wild to observe in natural habitat. I thought it was funny that how they get them close to the elephants and stuff like that by putting it in something that looks like a rock, or the cameras in something that looks like shit, or and they have turtles with these things in it and birds that they just sit them in places. There was one where the monkey. There was a baby monkey, and I felt
I'm
bad
sorry
for the
for
monkey
laughing.
because the monkeys wanted to check out this baby monkey, and when the baby monkey fell, the one female monkey thought the baby was hurt, and she jumped down, and when she realized there was no heartbeat, she thought it was dead. And she started making a bunch of noise, and all these monkeys started gathering around and mourning the death of this monkey. But this is on PBS. It was interesting how they capture these animals in their natural habitat by putting these things out there, and they don't even realize that it's just a camera.
Wow.
So, in fact, there was a pack of wolves where they had placed a couple of the trail cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and the wolves kept on stealing the trail cameras. Okay. And in fact, the trail cameras would broadcast the footage
Mm-hmm.
of the wolves stealing
That's
the
strange.
cameras.
That's
Okay.
That's cool.
I would see that's interesting because I would like to know what the camera looked like that the wolves kept picking it up. But you have to realize
They knew
also-
it didn't belong there.
Right. And I was also going to
It
point out
was in their
wolves,
pack area. Yeah, it
wolves
didn't
and
belong there.
dogs,
Yeah,
wolves and
they-
dogs hear things we can't. And a lot of people
So-
don't realize this, but usually when something has a power source, a power supply, it gives off some kind of sound
Yeah.
or
Oh,
frequency
absolutely.
that's beyond
Oh.
our hearing. So like you said, if they know it doesn't belong there, they're going to go sniff
Well,
around.
remember that they
Yeah, but-
see they see some variances in light spectrum also.
Hey,
but
drone
also
shots.
too with dogs, Lawrence, especially something like a wolf, the shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
the mastiffs and stuff like that.
The hearing
You
is
can't put
phenomenal.
something. No, you can't put something out of place in their area.
Oh,
Because
So-
okay.
you stand there and look at it like, yo, what is this?
I had
This is
I
just
had the
supposed to be
privilege.
here.
I had the privilege about it's now going on 10 years. I was photographing a wolf pack. We were in a habitat, and we were actually in with the wolves. Now,
Unacceptable.
I wasn't that.
I'm just letting you
Look,
know.
so I was more afraid of a bobcat than I would be of a wolf in that situation. The wolves were fed through deer kill. Okay, it was a preserve,
Oh, okay.
and we went into the enclosures with them, and the enclosures are acres and acres, and you gain acceptance, so that you can photograph them, and they're incredibly intelligent. And first off, you don't realize how large they are.
Mhm.
Okay.
Until you see something
the
that makes
leader
a
of the pack
shepherd
is-
look small.
Oh man, forget about a shepherd.
There's a few dogs that make a
A
shepherd.
corso.
Oh,
It makes
imagine it.
corsos. They're very tall animals. Okay. And we had a combination of timber wolves and Arctic wolves. But the leader of the pack is usually a matriarch, is
Right.
the female.
Right.
And there was one female that had been kicked out of the pack because she got antsy and was trying to, take over. And she was up on the hill. So after we got introduced into the pack, and what our guides told us was, anything you have on you, keep it on you. If you drop it,
Leave
it
it.
probably doesn't belong to you anymore.
Right.
And so, we were photographing, and it was wintertime, and I noticed one of the photographers had dropped, had rolled up his gloves and stuck it in his belt loop, but one of them fell out onto the ground. One of the wolves came around and wanted to go for it, but he was still standing too close to it. So the wolf went over and picked up a branch, okay, and came over with the branch and reached in and grabbed the glove from behind the guy's leg
Wow.
and dragged it over and picked it up. And you go, freaking amazing. But then the female who had been kicked out of the pack, on a timeout, saw us in with the pack for a couple of hours and came down thinking she was, okay, I can just get back into things. And the matriarch let her back in for about 10 minutes until she came up to sniff the matriarch's butt. And the matriarch turned on her. And you talk about ferocious velocity. They're just that, like we're like this, like, oh shit, don't move, you're next.
Yeah.
And just like this growl and this look, and she just beat feet right back up. Okay.
Back up on
The
the hill.
exiled one
Tim
just
Jackson.
went right back up on the
Mr. Jackson.
up
Hey,
on the
Tim.
hill. What's
What's
up,
going
Tim?
on,
How are you,
Tim?
brother?
He had his
But that's
first live stream the other day.
so there's a place in Jersey, by the way,
That you can do this stuff.
called the Lakota Wolf Preserve. Well, you'll be outside. There's an inner fence and an outer fence, and now
And what side of
Tamron-
the fence are the wolves on? The inside, right?
they're inside. You can now shoot. We were inside also, but now they have an area where you can shoot
Rob, what's up?
from in between the two fences.
Mhm.
See, see.
Don't you have a place in
Now the
Pennsylvania
complete
as
different
well?
situation. Bobcats are notoriously nasty animals. A 30-pound bobcat can take down an 800-pound mule deer.
I believe
So
it because
those are the things I'm very afraid of
I was
because
watching
they don't care about size.
this thing before we go squirrel real quick about Wolverines can actually fight a bear and win. And I'm like,
Oh,
but this thing
Wolverines
is
are
only
nasty
about
animals.
40, 50 pounds. to a
Yeah.
400 or 500 pound bear, and it'll
Well,
shred
it's
them
like
up.
they're like a Tasmanian devil, man. They don't stop.
Yeah.
Yo, you
Yeah.
know, remember I released that video a while back of the we found a castle up in Newcastle, Westchester County.
Mhm.
Like about 2 weeks
Yeah.
later, I was at a friend's house not too far from that castle, and he showed me pictures of a bear in his neighbor's yard. So we were in those woods, not even knowing that there was a bear circulating the neighborhood
Bears all
at
over.
that time. But we are out there,
Unacceptable.
sunrise,
They're all over the place.
by ourselves.
Unacceptable.
All we had was drones.
Boys, they're all over the place, bro.
You didn't even have bear spray, did you?
Yeah, I have it now. Too late.
Yeah, yeah.
After
Throw
that,
your hat.
after that, you know what it is? I'm a little faster than my boy Jerome, so I was good.
Well, that's all
worst
it's
case
about.
scenario.
You understand that, right?
My legs
That's
are
all it's
longer.
about.
I get that boogie going.
That's
You
all
don't
that
need
matters.
to. You don't need to outrun a bear. Okay,
You need
you
to
just
outrun
need to
your
be
buddy.
faster. Yeah, that's all it is, man.
His
That's all it is.
backpack looked a little heavier too. He would have had to lose that.
Yeah, and of course you know
With a
help
hat,
him out
with
by
a backpack.
help him out by throwing a couple of stones in that backpack.
I
too,
have
while
Care
you're at it.
Refresh. I would have left the MA2 there, man.
Man, it's
I would
gone.
have came
It's
back
gone.
for it later.
You know what? Today
A flyaway.
you automatically
AKA.
have flyaway, bro.
Yeah, I would have
It's
called it
part
a
of your
flyaway.
DJI Care. There you go.
It's in a bear's cave right now.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
I know
no,
this
don't
doesn't
F with
pertain-
bears.
I know this doesn't pertain to anyone here because I don't believe anyone's going, but if anybody's listening is going to be in the area, I hope it's not anyone in the chat. But Tampa Bay is the site of Super Bowl 55, February 7th, 2021. Leave your drones at home. Super Bowl 55 will see Kansas City Chiefs play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the NFL announced that there'll be 22,000 fans attending, 7,500 healthcare workers. It will be a no-drone zone. The TFR will be in effect for 30 miles, 30 nautical miles radius from ground level, 18,000 feet AGL.
They're not playing.
It will go into effect 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And
Please
every
don't get
year,
caught, because this year I think is going to be the year somebody's going down.
because every year they catch one fool that tries to take off with a drone and
one.
doesn't know about it. And the last year, if you remember, during the Super Bowl, they caught someone and they never said what happened to him, but they're looking to hang somebody there now.
Yeah. They're gonna make an
There's too
example
many
of somebody.
excuses. You're being notified. And for those of you who don't know, this link right here is the actual FAA page talking about it. It shows the Super Bowl. If you live in the area, like Herman said, don't be stupid.
So
I believe if you
Please.
activate your drone within that no-fly zone in your house, they're kicking your door in.
So, gentlemen, we talked
telling
about
you, don't play.
a story a couple of episodes back, right?
Mhm.
About some Army testing with the NYPD TARU in
Mhm.
Foley
Yes,
Square.
which they did here in New York.
So, do you think that was a giddy up and
precursor?
get started? Of course it was.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You
And
know
we-
who's going to be out there. There'll be every opportunity to test counter UAS at that
Oh,
event.
yes.
And so
definitely.
if you want to participate in this clinical trial study, bring your drone out to the cross section of, right,
All right.
Super
Tim.
Bowl Boulevard, and
Yeah.
you are going to Jail Avenue. Okay.
As soon as you
And
power it up,
Take off from right there and see how far you get.
soon as you
But
power
you know what?
it up, you're gonna get
We-
tased.
You know, here we are saying, we know what's going to happen
Yeah.
Well,
because
you
there's
know,
some knucklehead out there who's going to go, hey, I want a good picture of that.
everybody that knows someone in Florida needs to share this link, so everybody be advised what's going on.
Yes. Hey,
Share
hey,
this link.
Russell, believe
Smart
it or
enough.
not, Russell, there were people going down there to
Well,
get pictures and shots.
care,
They're
too.
going to go down there and get pictures, and they're going to camp out areas. And even though the flight restriction doesn't start till for a certain time, I can guarantee there's going to be drone security in that area before a weeks
Oh,
before
well
the
before.
Super Bowl even
Well
starts.
before. They're there now.
Well,
Yes,
I
this is
would
what I'm
say this.
saying. That's what I
They're
mean.
there now.
I
Herman,
still-
Herman,
Jackson,
Herman,
be
real
well.
question. Herman, real question, okay?
I'm listening.
What's your picks?
Kansas City.
Mahone repeats. That's mine too. Although
Yeah.
Golden Boy made his point. Okay.
Nah, the defense just didn't do their job. Come up.
No, I'm just saying.
Getting those rushes
Okay.
late, and he lays down.
It wasn't all Belichick.
Gotta
That's
get
all he
upfield.
was
It's
trying to
a
prove.
System, it's a system that they had going for years. They should have
Yeah.
been winning. The division that they were in, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I see Mahone repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that defense on him and watch him fold up in the box.
But for those of you who don't know and don't think we know what we're talking about, here it is again from the FAA.
Put that Russian lane
All
on
right.
him. Come
You
straight up.
you
field at him,
can't do any more fact checking than that.
up in the box.
Plain and simple. If you want to read it word for word, click that link, bookmark it, save it for later. Because I can almost guarantee someone else is going to talk about it on other live streams as well. So
Oh, you know
you
what?
might as well
Share the link.
get it here first. I'm not saying
Get
we're
the
the
word
first
out
to
there.
do stuff, but
Oh, no, but people got caught the time when the Super Bowl was in the dome.
hey, Jackson.
Now, the problem I had with that was those people should have gotten caught because it's a dome.
Yeah.
What were you gonna see?
Yeah, Welsh Rob.
Yeah.
Welsh Rob brings up the fact that in
Hey,
UK they have this company called Crowded
Jackson, I'll
Space.
see
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah, I saw that on with Sean on Geeksmana.
What?
There's a company in the UK called
Oh, yeah.
Crowded Space. Remember that
Yes.
Sean had done an episode
Mhm.
with him, and actually, the young man from that company has been on a couple of times with Sean. Here again, it's going to be federal, state, and local authorities are going to be working together with several leading manufacturers in the county UAS realm
Mhm.
that will use Super Bowl Sunday as another case study and another
Well, they
set of
already
trials to
have-
run.
They've had those conferences that the FAA put together for the guys that were selling their their devices.
But see, there's
They
a
had that
different
already.
there's a parallel track here, Herman.
Mhm,
There's an RFI, RFP at the Department of Defense level, and that's what the Army's involved in right now. And they'll be out there. There's no doubt about it because it's a proving ground. I mean,
Right.
you take advantage of these things.
Exactly.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
this is real life. Foley Square was scenario-based drill.
Mhm.
But
And
I'm
this is
still
real
even interested to
deal.
know when they were testing at Foley Square here in New York,
Yeah.
how many drones they saw during this test.
Yeah,
I would
they.
be interested to know
Well,
because
you know,
there's
here in New York,
information that
people fly all hours here in New York. You know that.
Some of
New Year's
our
would have been a good
favorite
time.
people.
that
to
wasn't
catch
the
someone.
case with this. That wasn't what they were there for, and that's not what they're going to report out on.
well,
no.
you know what? They're gonna find a lot more drones because that Evo 2 is selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, well, good. It's 6K video. You better have some power to edit that
and,
thing.
Listen.
and you got less restrictions and all that stuff. so.
Listen, if you can't
No,
run
Only
the
for so
6K
long, Stevie.
Stevie,
Only
if-
for so long. That
Stevie, if
dream
you can't
ends
run
soon,
this,
too.
the 6K that thing is pushing, I have you wasted your money because if you're gonna buy a 6K camera just to run it in 1080p for Facebook or just for pictures,
For
you're just
YouTube.
keeping up with the Joneses.
I'm not sold on that drone. I seen it in person, and I spoke to two people that are very familiar with drones about it. And I'm a video guy, and just the controls alone, they just not right for me. And I'm a pincher on top of that.
Mhm.
So I seen the remote, and it
Ooh,
kind of
baby.
like it's kind of weird. Maybe if they do that, I heard they coming
Yeah.
out with a smart controller now.
Are
maybe
they?
I'm a
there's some-
breast man. I'm
I
a
heard
breast man, too,
come
Stevie.
yeah, I'm a pitcher. So the remote is not right for me. I
But-
wouldn't be able to do those moves like multiple
it's so
angles
small.
and gimbal and all that. I can't do it. I see it in person.
Mm.
And another thing is I don't do a lot of night stuff. So really it's superpowers at night. It
Look.
sees like a cat. You know what I mean?
Why do you know, look, you say, hey, I got a DSLR in the other room that's, 50 megapixels. Why? What do you need it for? To crop the shit out of it. Okay. 6K, that's what
Like-
it's there for.
Like
Right.
Lauren said,
To crop.
like
to
Laura
your
said,
heart's
you
content.
need a powerful computer to work with that footage, right? That's number one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
Better have something current.
I know some of the guys I hang out with, they sell photos, stock photos.
Hmm.
So I guess they could mess around, they could crop, they'll have more options and stuff like that. Because they're doing mostly photos. But I'm saying for me personally, my opinion, it's just not for me.
So,
Like
so
I can't
magnetic
outmaneuver.
interference
Also,
says 700 on a Mac Mini M1 scrubs through 6K like 1080p. Yeah, I've seen that too. And in fact, Ken Dono put something out on that. But I
No
like,
Welsh Rob, only
Stevie,
6K.
like you, Stevie. I don't know that I need that at this point.
it's
And
necessary.
again, the
Yeah.
controls are, if it doesn't fit your shooting style, then you have to
Yeah.
adapt your shooting style to the drone. And me personally, that's not what I'm looking for.
Hey,
If the-
Welsh
if-
Rob, from what I'm in answer to your question, it's standard 6K in
You can get
16
the-
by 9 format. It
Yeah.
goes to 8K in 4x3 format.
4x3.
Yeah, so
And that's a good question. I normally shoot in 4x3 so that I have, in 4K, I shoot at 4x3. So I have that extra.
here you go,
information,
Welsh Rob.
those
These are the
extra
specs
pixels.
for it.
yeah,
On that link right there. Those are the specs for the Evo, but the best performance is 6K in 16 by 9.
It's
If you want
optimal.
to shoot in 4K, it crops it to a 4x3 square as if you were flying FPV. Now, if you're taking pictures, I guess that's okay.
right.
But for video, like, you better have enough to run. I know people
Stevie-
barely run in 4K.
Yeah, if you're
Stevie-
dumping
Stevie,
20 minutes.
how do
worth
you
of
think
video,
it flew? How do you think it flew, Stevie?
I noticed something about the Horizon, and I know they mentioned that on YouTube as well. When you're doing maneuvers, it doesn't handle the Horizon as good as a DJI drone. I'm not 100% sure. You have to do your research. Like, you might want to put the disclaimer up, but I've seen, like, the way DJI, it just, you watch the video, it's so smooth. They have it engineered so perfectly. And I don't think Evo, the Autel version, is there yet. It's not a smooth fly for video, and I've heard other people say it. I didn't fly it. I stood over a shoulder watching it. Once during the day, maybe twice at night. And it seems, it sees like a cat, though. in
Well, how far
comparison.
away was the drone?
It was in line of sight, but it was maybe, I don't know, far in distance, maybe 1,000 feet away. I don't know. And
How is the stability? Because I actually saw one fly over me when I was at Calvert Vaux Park flying FPV with Justin. And when he went to stop, first of all, it stopped and was like, and
that
then
could
when
be
it
the
did,
operator
when
too.
it did stop, it was like this. And I'm like, wow, if that's their GPS hold.
No.
still need to do
It
some
held.
updates.
It was holding steady. It was holding steady the few times I seen it.
But what were the weather
but
parameters? Was it windy?
It just I don't know, maybe it's because I'm so used to DJI and the way it's cut and everything. It just seemed clunky because it was just like it was like a brick, you know what I mean, with a camera on it. So it seemed clunky. It didn't seem smooth, but the Horizon issue concerned me because it's almost like in that border of when you put your drone on FPV mode, they have that option now for the Mavic Air 2.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. Like you get a little unstableness when you're doing maneuvers. Remember, I'm not saying when it's flying straight, everything's perfect. But if you're trying to do cinematic shots and you're trying to do two
For
different
example,
angles
if you're
at the
trying to
same
do a
time,
manual orbit, it doesn't look as
and you're
clean
trying
as
to you're
DJI.
doing a turning orbit, you're trying to do two, 3 moves at one time, which that's what I do. I don't think I don't think they're there yet. I think I'm going to wait for the next version and
You're
maybe
saying there's something
invest.
in the gimbal that's a problem.
I think it's something in the tech. It's something in the way it's engineered, the way it
It
reacts.
could all be software related.
Yeah, exactly. It might be something to fix with the
Or
thing.
firmware.
I noticed it in person, and then when I started looking in YouTube, because I started noticing a lot of people were selling their Mavic 2 Pros and buying this Evo more recently. So I said, all right, maybe let me look at some YouTube videos, and I noticed people were mentioning that Horizon thing.
Okay.
And I don't think the way I edit, I try to keep it more fast paced. So I don't think you would pick up on it right away. But the remote itself, the remote threw me off. I was even thinking maybe making something like in a 3D printer to make the remote not give the option for the remote to close in. You know what I'm saying? And like make it one piece, like customize something. But then why I'm going to do that? I love my Mavic Air 2. So, and if I need to do like a job, like a money job, I bring the Phantom 4
You're
Pro.
going to bring your Phantom regardless.
Yeah, I can't lose. So right now I'm very patient. I'm not in a rush. So I'm not going to invest in an Autel drone.
Okay.
Even though right now that seems like the hype.
It's still a 20 megapixel resolution, Stevie. And remember that if you get the Evo 2, that's actually a half-inch CMOS sensor.
And it's
If
48.
you get the Evo 2 Pro, that's a 1-inch sensor. But guys, 48. It's not true 48 megapixels.
I know it's not.
It's stacked.
Not.
It's 12 megapixels stacked 4 times. It's a Bayer sensor, quad Bayer.
Now, so is it a mechanical shutter on that? On the
mechanical?
I doubt it.
No.
If
right
it
now,
was, they would have said
on
so.
the Pro
now,
it
from
is.
what I understand, DJI is
on the Pro
only
it
company
is
out there using a mechanical shutter till present day.
So the 6K one has a mechanical shutter?
Digital.
Yeah,
digital.
But it's not.
See, when you have digital, you get those wavy light poles.
On the sides. On the sides. You get a lot of distortion.
You get what they call warping.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they don't realize.
But wait a second. Wait. Guys, let me, there's a misnomer here. Your mechanical shutter is not, do you think you have a mechanical shutter in video? No, you don't have a mechanical shutter in video.
In the Pro, that's the big selling point that they used. You won't get those bendy light poles and stuff like that when you're doing your video. And you get that with the Pro too. This is your light pole. Mavic 2 Pro.
Hey,
you get a lot of rolling shutter, Ben.
Yeah. You know, the mirrorless cameras get that. That's the difference between the mirrorless cameras and the DSLRs, from what I heard.
No,
I don't own a mirrorless camera.
Not many of them have that issue.
That was a big issue.
I do not have. Well, first off, I don't have that kind of distortion on my mirrorless.
You got a Nikon,
if I did,
right?
Yes.
See, Nikon is beast.
Well, it's I mean, think about it. At the end of the day, who do you think makes the sensor in a Nikon camera?
Sony.
Yep.
Sony. In my Nikon camera is a Sony sensor.
Yeah, they're Sonys.
Oh well. Anyhow.
So what's your thoughts on Skydio other than the tracking? To be honest, Skydio, since they went military because of their sensors and tracking, they've left us consumers alone and said, all right, we're going military. As far as their Skydio sensors don't, and hold on, the views and opinions that I heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel, but to me personally, Skydio won't be shit until they can see, their sensors can see at night.
Okay. Well,
plain and simple. That's all I'm going to say. What's up, EBR?
Well, check this out. Yesterday, there was an article in Drone Life.
Can I just got to back you up, Herman, because there's, so Stevie, just to go back to something real quick, okay? Phantom 4 Pro. Okay, Herman, this is up your alley too. So there's the claim out there that the mechanical shutter will help reduce or eliminate that rolling shutter effect, like distorted images and jello in video, right?
Right.
It's not true. Guys, it's not true. Think about it now.
What's the message?
You are using a digital shutter when you're shooting video. You are only using a mechanical shutter when you are shooting stills in a Phantom 4 Pro. If you were shooting with a mechanical shutter, okay, trying to shoot 60 frames a second, it would not be possible. A mechanical shutter would not keep up with that frame rate for any period in time without overheating. Okay, so the claims that were made, the jello effect in video is controlled electronically, by the way. Okay,
Right.
unless you have a lot of movement or gimbal issues on your mechanical gimbal issues on your drone.
Yeah,
because
link,
it couldn't
Tom.
keep up. It could not keep up, and that's why you're actually using a digital shutter
I understand
when
what
you're shooting
saying.
video.
I understand exactly what you're saying. All I want to tell you is this. I know the claim that DJI makes.
Right.
I know that drone doesn't do it, and the other ones do.
Well,
Hold on.
no.
Yeah.
Magnetic-
Check out the link.
You
Check
see
out
what
the link I
magnetic
put in the message
interference
thing.
put?
Yeah.
From what I understand, the shutter opens at the start, and then an electronic shutter simulates the function of the mechanical shutter whilst
Right.
you're filming.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
Lawrence, look at the link that I sent you and scroll down. Oh, well, all you guys, scroll down to the mechanical shutter.
Okay.
It says
Hold on.
capture every moment. You're going to see their claim, like Tom said, their claim. And it shows the mechanical shutter and electronic shutter, which is the Mavic 2 Pro and the Zoom.
In fact, Stevie, even on the boards, DJI's moderators have come out to say that it's a combination mechanical digital shutter.
Right.
Okay.
No,
So
but
it
I
lays.
understand what you're saying.
I know they're
Correctly,
marketing claims
but hold
because
on,
it's easy to make them.
Tom,
No, I
correct
understand what
me
you're
if
saying,
I'm
Tom,
wrong.
because I've seen photographers that are shooting with mirrorless cameras, and when they go to do stills, they're going to pick up their mechanical.
I was just
It
getting ready
depends.
to.
shutter.
I was just
and
getting
shoot
ready
stills.
to elaborate on that as well, Herman, because I found out that people who use a mechanical shutter are photographers. As far as shooting video with the mechanical shutter, like you said, that does make sense. It cannot keep up. But usually a mechanical shutter is used specifically for photos. So you have
Okay,
to stress
I'll tell you
that
where the
little point.
exception is. I'll tell you where the exception is, gentlemen. Okay, Red cameras, high-end Canon.
Mhm.
Okay, Sony video cameras, high-end. Okay,
Mhm.
we're talking about production quality cameras. Yes, but there is so much. You talk about beef, right, Stevie? I mean, you're talking about a product that's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Okay,
The
and our
Reds and
Phantom
stuff like
4
that?
Pro, our Phantom 4 Pro, we didn't invest
You're scratching
that
the
much money.
surface.
DJI
You're
makes the
scratching
claim,
surface.
and the claim sounds good on the surface. And for the most part, when you shoot with that Phantom 4, she is pretty. Okay, there's no doubt about it. But it's pretty because she's got that beautiful 1-inch sensor, and she's got a nice dynamic range to her.
Agreed.
That was the sweet spot on that 4S camera. That 4S camera is a really nice camera.
Well, all I know is I'm happy as fuck with my Phantom 4 Pro.
Hell yeah.
I'm not a DJI fanboy, but I support their machines and their drones because they do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, they
Plain
earned the
and
respect.
simple.
They earned the
If
respect.
you want to go out there and you
Buy
want
it
to go
because
out
it
there and
works.
take some nice shots, the Phantom 4 Pro will not lead you wrong. Now, if you feel you have to go out there and buy a 6K camera to compensate,
By all means.
to make your balls bigger, go ahead.
dude.
I'm being
Unless
honest. I'm being honest. I'm not hating on nobody who has a
Look at Herman.
hotel, a
Look
four.
at Herman.
But hold
Buy
on,
what
hold
you
on a second.
want.
But hold on a
Buy
second.
what you want.
Yeah, people have
If it's for
8K
you,
cameras
buy
out
it.
there. They're already talking 12K. Whatever works for you, because I'm going to make what I have work for me, plain and simple. And you have to think about that. Don't always try and keep up with the Joneses because, oh, it's a half-inch sensor that does this better than that half-inch sensor.
so
Make
so
what
let me give you
fucking got
guys.
work.
So if you ever want to compare cameras and things like that, okay, and we're talking about cameras, but I am also talking about cameras on drones. Don't go to the drone sites. Go to the photography sites.
Yes.
And the one
Yep.
I'll tell you that you should go to quite often if you're into this is DP Review.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
Those are official.
Yes.
And you know what? You can look up the Autel Evo 2 on DP. It'll be there, and they'll compare it to the Mavic series. In fact, I'll read you one quote. You know, on the other hand, unless you need zoom capabilities on a 1-inch sensor and you really care about crispness of your imagery, the Mavic 2 Pro will fare better for most professionals. Now, consumers who want an easy-to-use drone to take everywhere with them are much better off with the Mavic Air 2.
Right. If you're concerned about
Now-
traveling
now-
space.
Now, compare that to the price tag, right? Okay. Stevie, what did we pay for a Mavic Air 2, even if we
It was like
went with the Fly More?
like 1,100 or something, or 1,000 with the
It's
fly
about
mode?
Yeah, I think it
1,000
was
now.
$1,000.
About 1,000 now.
Yeah.
So you're $500 more for this one then.
I think it's 17, right? The
No,
6K?
17 if you want the 2
Gotcha.
Pro.
The 2 Pro, yeah, that's
If
the
you
one
want
that
the 2
they,
Pro,
yeah,
they're both
1,700.
8K.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're both 8K. Okay. But remember, that's 8K 30. No, 8K 25.
25, yes, which is actually
29.
24.9.
Now that's
whatever they-
$14.95. The Evo 2 Pro
Mm-hmm.
is not an 8K. It only goes to 6K.
Yeah.
And that's actually $17.95. And then, of course, if you have a
Like the rugged
business,
bundles.
the Evo 2 Dual is just a measly $10,000.
Yeah.
you know, my thing is, I'm willing to invest in other companies when they get to that level. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm very happy with my DJI products. There's no reason to invest in anything else, and I'm super patient. I could care less when the next one's going to come out. I'm happy with my Mavic Air 2.
We look,
Keeping up with the
it's-
Some that
Joneses.
might say if you don't give them a play, they won't never get to that level. But I
you
don't
walk
think
in.
it's up to the consumer to do that. I think it's up to the company to give me. a
Here's what
product
drone
that I
buyers are
use.
like. Here's what drone buyers are like. You're walking down the block. You got the hottest chick on your arm, and another chick walks by you. And what do? You look over your shoulder.
Well, that's like the
Dude,
dog looking at his reflection.
These are this is what we are, Stevie. You know, that's the problem. They you know, it's the next best thing, bro.
Yeah.
You got a
No.
bunch of people who are chasing a dream. But then again, you got a bunch of people who do that with cameras too. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Buying
yeah,
a better camera does not make
Tom,
you
it's
a better
cameras.
photographer.
Tom, it's cameras,
Well,
cars,
that's better
cell
anything, though,
phones.
Tom.
It's all of the above. Cameras, cars,
Well, actually, the
cell
better car
phones,
you get,
all of-
the smaller the dick you have, right? I mean, it's that
Well,
usually
no,
the way it works.
because you can go out. No, seriously.
The
you can go
longer
out
the
and
lens,
spend-
the smaller the.
No,
How's that
seriously, you
work?
can go out and spend $300,000 on a car. If you can't drive, you can't drive.
Oh, and we see
True.
that
Anything.
happen all the time,
And
right?
I've seen that.
People come out of a
Honda Civic.
Porsche dealership and they wrap it around the next telephone
a
pole.
block away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most people are enjoying their drones,
But
and they don't have to be doing all the
Why would you
high
go?
tech stuff. You know, a lot of people have more tech than they need right now for what they're
Mhm.
doing.
Stevie,
they
we got
should
a
even-
lot more tech than we need. How much tech we have sitting on our shelves?
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
in drones.
Yeah.
You can't take it all out. No,
People,
yeah,
people keep
yeah, I agree.
jumping. People keep jumping drone to drone, and they're not even.
They didn't learn how to use the last damn thing they
They
had.
didn't get
On the
to
shelf.
the full capacity of what these drones are
Put it in the
providing.
bag.
You know,
Plus, you're
Mhm.
using it.
I'm
Look.
still
Yeah.
learning. Like I learn something
if-
every day.
Oh, yeah.
Every
If
time
If you're
I
a
fly.
collector,
If you're
if
not
you're a
learning,
collector, that's fine.
you're not learning,
Right.
is a problem.
Yeah, I'm always learning something, and I'm like, wow. And I've been flying for a long time.
Yeah, this is true. As you meet people that are in the hobby, you will learn that there are people doing things the same way as you, but maybe a little different. And
That's great.
that's where you learn. You know, that's how you learn. Someone may drive a car with their left hand, some may drive it with their right. They're still driving a damn car.
My
My
father
thing
drove with
is,
2
I hate
feet,
to
and
see someone,
he drove an automatic.
but Tom, my thing is, I hate to see someone go out there and buy a $1,700 drone, a $2,000 drone, and they shoot an auto. That kills me. I mean, if you're gonna do that, you get a Mavic Air 2, get a
Look.
Lawrence is their drone.
I know
They can buy
people
it in
who have
fire and
bought.
put it in
Yeah,
automatic if they
you're
want.
I
right.
know people
You're
who
right.
have bought Nikon D50s.
You're right. You're right, Herbert.
Nikon D500s, and shoot that powerhouse camera in auto mode.
I got
Not
a
even
guy
in
from
program
Street.
mode. I mean, not
with a
even in
Mercedes
program mode,
backs into
auto
people's
mode.
car.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He can't park. He got a Mercedes, but should he have
He
it?
can't park.
That's money.
Damn.
I'm not making the payment.
You're right.
It's
You're
getting
right.
worse. It's getting worse.
Hey, Michael Blade.
He said by Mercedes can't park.
No, he can't. The guy up the street, he's terrible.
Oh my goodness.
He's
It's
terrible.
true. I've seen so many people
Guy by feel.
and I've seen so many people in ATVs and crossover Jeeps and trucks and can't park. If you had $1 million on the fence and said,
You know
if
what's
you
best?
3-point
When-
park this
Hondas that
vehicle,
can't
you
park.
could
They
have
park
When
millions.
the
themselves
snow
now.
comes, when the snow comes and they take them out, like I can't get stuck.
Mhm.
And who are the first ones to get stuck?
And who's the first one to get in an
They
accident?
wouldn't even know how to drop it into 4 low. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you guys.
But
are
hold on.
Cola
Welsh
and
Rob
Coffee.
says all of his stuff is in auto. But if that's what you, how
If
you,
that's
you
what you
shoot,
know. That's what you
it's
know.
okay. My
Yeah.
point is,
Sarcasm
Welsh
Don't listen
Rob,
to him,
through,
Welsh Rob.
Don't.
Do
Yeah,
what you
sarcasm.
know how to do.
no,
So you learn more.
Don't
Welsh
worry,
Rob.
Welsh
Sarcasm
Rob.
comes through. Welsh
Hold
Rob,
on,
don't worry.
let me get this.
It
My
doesn't matter
point-
that your car is half on the curb right now outside.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
My point is, Welsh Rob, it's
What's up,
okay to
Welsh Rob?
shoot an auto. There's nothing wrong with shooting an auto. But when you have a $2,000 drone and it, I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I know people that have a Porsche that never take it over 60. Okay, so I guess that's what the point I'm making, but
What's the speed
it really gets to me inside. You know,
What's the
I
speed limit?
just,
55.
that's just me personally, though.
All right. I mean,
You know, I'm gonna leave it at that.
I need you down
Next
there
story.
to make laws.
So about the light
so that way,
poles.
guys that have cars that do 100 plus, we should be allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Happens outside my window at least 3-4 times a night.
But they're not allowed to do it. If Lawrence is the lawmaker, guys that drive Porsches and BMWs,
The Autobahn.
fly. Yeah. But yeah, you guys ever heard of Coca-Cola and coffee? Well, anyway,
Have we heard of those two things?
no, mixed together, Coca-Cola and coffee together. It's supposedly a new
No.
product.
Yes,
Well,
they
grown up-
meant. Go ahead,
Walmart
Herb.
and Coke teamed up to launch for their launch of this new product from Coca-Cola. Walmart, the world's largest retailer, is actively pursuing the drone delivery business. And Coca-Cola, like I said, Walmart and Drone Up teamed up to launch the Coca-Cola with coffee. Now,
Here we go.
So the launch was delivering samples to the residents of, get this, Coffee County, Georgia. Now, it is Coca-Cola infused with Brazilian coffee. So I guess it's for the guy and the girl who can't choose which one of their 2 favorite drinks to have. They can have them together.
Like there's not enough caffeine in life to begin with, huh?
We got to drink.
So wait.
Give me
You
a
know what's
second.
missing from there is Red Bull.
Some more sugar.
Now, if it were Coca-Cola, coffee, and Red Bull together, what is that called? Suicide?
I don't know. It's probably called. We got to
Jesus.
rush you to the hospital.
You know what's crazy? They started testing this mixture in Japan in 2018.
Oh, they test
Why
some
Japan,
crazy shit
though?
there. Oh no! That's
Well,
Stevie.
yeah.
For drinks?
That place Stevie, for everything, dude. They
Cigarettes.
are on the bleeding edge, baby.
I
Okay.
see. Wow.
And nothing shocks Stevie. There's probably a Coke and octopus mix in Japan.
that they
okay?
trying right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
You'd be the stuff they carry at McDonald's, man. Okay, come on. And there's a vending machine for everything in Japan. Okay.
Wow.
There's sex toy vending machines on the street in Japan.
On the street.
I'm not saying every corner. There's a section,
He said
I'm not saying
every
right
corner.
outside the school, the prefecture school.
Outside the McDonald's.
Yeah, there all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Right next door to McDonald's. Dude, kiosk takes on a whole new meaning, right?
They right on the street.
What's up, Ray?
So, fellas,
So they got a
Hey,
vending
what's up,
Ray?
right on the street with toys in it. That's crazy. No, I mean, I've seen, like, because I've worked at the Philip Morris building that they have over in Manhattan,
Mhm.
and they actually have a vending machine in there for the employees for cigarettes. Now, I don't know if it's still there, but I was there, I want to say maybe 7 years ago, and it was there. So who knows? It could still be there.
Wow.
I know and that was well after when vending machines, as we know, with cigarettes were removed from everywhere.
Yeah. That campaign has been going on for a while.
But they still have it in their building for the employees.
Enablers.
And it's moving.
yeah, they probably buying up the packs and selling them on the street.
Or depending on the price, yeah. Or you can
They
sell
might give them
you can sell
discounts.
Lucy's. Sell Lucy's outside the bodega.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's another ball game right there,
Get your ones.
man.
But yeah, there was another story that we had, Lawrence. What was that one there with this
Whisk.
air? It's a VTOL air taxi called Cora. Check out Cora. It's
It's
urban
on
air
screen now.
mobility. Urban air mobility is a buzz phrase these days. It's a way of describing a coming future where unmanned air vehicles and also air taxis will be passenger and people around in urban airspace. Now, this is what I found was interesting about this is that, going into another story that I'd sent you, Tom, and looking at it, and they're talking about, urban air mobility and advanced air mobility and whether or not the United States can actually afford to lose in this race. And the thing is, what they were saying is that there are a lot of overseas companies who are working on these things, are testing these things, like Cora, for instance, is over in New Zealand. And this company got together here where it was with Whisk was actually a joint venture between Boeing and Kitty Hawk Company that actually is owner of this thing. And I think it was they had back in 2016 or 2017, they got with this company Zephyr Airworks to start this testing down there in New Zealand. And basically, like I said, a lot of the stuff that deals with these things are going on outside of the United States. And they were worried about whether or not the United States is going to actually have some of this kind of testing going on here, other than just the stuff that we're doing in North Carolina and North Dakota with testing for like beyond visual line of sights for delivery drones. They're looking at some of these flying cars, flying taxis, and incorporating them into our airspace with these drones. So I that was just a question to propose to guys.
So like, I voiced my concern to you earlier, Herman, but to the group, my concern is that there are airworthiness certificates maintained and managed on these aircraft, because you're going to fly over my house and you're carrying somebody. I don't want you falling out of the sky, because now it's not just a drone hitting my house. It's an aircraft hitting my house, potential loss of human life, and maybe you blow up my real estate too.
True.
The issue that I have is this all falls under what UTM is, and it all
Yeah.
falls under once you have an autonomous aerial vehicle, okay, you have to ensure. Now, we're not talking about unmanned anymore, and we're talking about a transport vehicle that's large enough to transport a person, right? So
Right.
you're talking about some considerable weight here.
Well,
So,
not only
so
that,
you know,
we're talking
if you
about
think curb
cargo.
weight, well, yeah,
That too.
well, let's talk about the person first, right? If it's going to carry one or two people, it better have. And now we're talking about Americans, okay? We're not talking about Asians. It better have a 400+ pound capacity,
Yeah.
cargo weight,
Easy.
right? So
Easy.
you know that aircraft, that curb weight on that aircraft is going to be, it's going to be a 1-ton vehicle at least.
Right.
Okay. Now you got 2,000 pounds flying above you. There better be airworthy certificates and certification on those aircraft, just like a manned aircraft.
My
Okay.
concern is, Tom, to interrupt you, my concern is I'm down with the air taxi thing. I'm cool with it 9 times out of 10. You'll never catch me in none of that shit. But
Mhm.
my problem is everyone's talking air taxi, air delivery, but no one's talking redundancy systems like chutes and
Well, you'd have to have.
you know-
Well, the thing is, see, that's where the airworthiness certification comes into play. Okay, because airworthiness doesn't just mean this rivet and pop
Right.
unless it hits this pressure. No, airworthiness means a lot of things. Like you'll have to have redundant barometers. You'll
Mhm.
have to have redundant GPS.
Just like
Mhm.
the
Okay, and IMUs. You know, you
Right.
have to have redundancy in
I get that.
in motors, all of that, and redundancy in
Well-
fail-safe systems. Now, some might have chute systems, some might not, but it all comes down to they have to be purpose-built.
Well, Lawrence, you have
Okay.
to remember too, these are being built by airplane manufacturers.
Yeah,
Companies like Pipistrel. Like I was saying to you, this company, Zephyr Airworks. You know, this guy, Fred Reed, he's the CEO of the company. You know, here's a guy who is one of the founders of founding CEOs of Virgin America. He worked for Delta and Lufthansa. So he happens to know something about planes. He happens to know something about aviation. He's been in aviation for over 30 years. You know, these planes, like I told you, we talked about the what was that, the Nuva 300V or whatever.
Yeah.
That was something that was
Yeah.
built by Pipistrel.
Yeah.
Right. I
So these are
remember.
companies that know how and know what they need
So-
to do, and they're following the FAA to get this.
Hey, B Mac.
all this is this is an aircraft. This is an aircraft.
Right.
Okay, you hit it right on the head, Herman. This is an aircraft being built by aircraft manufacturers. Okay, what's the difference here? The only difference is they run autonomously. Okay, you could say the same for a
What about
Tesla.
planes?
You could say
Yeah,
the same
that's
for a
true.
Tesla.
That's
Right
true.
now, there are. I wish Errol James was in the room. There
So do our planes.
are tractor trailers, 18-wheelers driving across
Yeah,
this country
Mercedes
right
has a
now,
few.
folks. No, forget
I've
about
seen it.
that. No, there are tractor trailers driving across this country right now without operators in them.
Autonomously. Yep. You're right.
Well,
Double
I've seen it.
trailers.
And you don't even know about it.
Double trailers. You're right.
Do you know why?
I've
Because they
seen
can't
videos of it.
fall. They can't fall on top of buildings. No, but they can crash into them. But the thing is that look, it's already happening. Okay, so there's not a big difference here. The big difference is now you got to convince somebody to get inside that thing to take a ride without there being a pilot.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
what you would have to do actually, well, that's the part that's the hard part, is not having a pilot, because most of our airline flight is autonomous already.
Yeah, that's true. The pilots
lot
are
of people
basically
don't
there
know it,
making sure the
but
system
it's-
doesn't do something it's not
A
supposed to.
lot of our
You
airplane
go
flight is
ahead. You go
autonomous.
ahead and tell an ATP that. You try that and see how far you get.
What
Okay.
happened?
Remember, you try to tell an ATP, an air transport pilot, you're just there to watch
Excuse me.
and monitor.
I didn't say
That's
that.
not the
But
way
what
it
I'm
works.
saying to you is,
Yeah.
I've heard one of them say this. That's why I'm repeating it.
Ding,
Okay.
ding, 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 ding.
Because yep.
Next round.
You see, I took offense right away,
Next
bro.
round.
What's on this subject?
Round
don't-
two.
You don't tell a pilot
But I wouldn't.
he's only there to
That
watch
was
the
Lawrence.
screen.
That was Lawrence. Lawrence was round one.
Lawrence
right,
has that,
all right.
that way of marginalizing.
Modular. Come here, you.
Come here, bad boy, get the bag.
Plus, I'm
Shrink.
gonna drop your pay by. Yeah.
That's the call the bellhop, Lawrence, the bad boy.
Uh-huh.
So the guy
You
bringing
better
the
not
room
say
service is a juice box boy.
Because an air transport pilot, a captain, is making $400 an hour. Okay, where that junior pilot, that junior guy is making $100 an hour, and they only get paid for the time they're flying. Okay, remember this
Right.
is how it works. So yeah, as a senior ATP, you can be making $350 to $400 large, but as a junior person, you can be making about 60 to 70 grand a year. So there's a big disparity there. Now, you don't want to tell ATPs they're only going to be monitoring screens because they're going to think, well, those good jobs went away. Okay.
Just monitoring the
You know,
screen.
it's just like Walmart. Hey, want a job as a cashier? No, now all you're doing is loading paper rolls into cashierless checkouts.
Okay.
Okay. New job, right? So
And
Well, one person could monitor like 20 stations. And
Right.
what they do, just in case something goes wrong, they go and fix it and go
they
back
say
to the
every cashless register puts a minimum of 4 cashiers out of work.
I believe it.
So there's a price
It
to be
doesn't have
paid
to
for all of
sleep.
this, right?
It doesn't have to
So,
sleep.
Herman,
it doesn't have to take
tell
a
me-
break. It doesn't have to have
Tell
lunch.
me, and now this might be a New York local thing, but Herman, tell me, what do you think a medallion, taxi medallion is going to be worth after autonomous air taxis start to take off?
$50.
Okay,
It really ain't worth nothing now. Huh?
they're hardly
$50.
right. I think they're about 160, 170,000 right now, and they
Come
were
on.
trading at
Pretty
about
close to that.
1.2.
Yeah, man.
They were trading at like 1.2 to 1.4 million
yeah,
before
1.2.
Uber.
Uber killed them.
So,
It's a shame.
Uber and Lyft.
Uber
Yeah.
and Lyft really
Yeah.
hurt the taxi community.
But you
And,
see,
and I only say because you had guys that were out there, just like Uber and Lyft drivers who get paid on a commission and per job. But you
Yeah.
had a guy out there that would do a 10-hour shift now, and Uber will come and do the job for less than what
Yeah,
that
that
gypsy.
Well, yeah, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't pay for those.
you heard me trying to get one of them cars and couldn't get one. Coming to the hood. All
Well,
right.
exactly until
Well-
they went to the lime color ones, but that's a whole different issue. That's the first
I
time
don't
they watered
see
it
why
down.
they didn't have to follow the same rules that the
Yeah.
cab drivers had to follow.
Well, yeah. Well, see, this is this, but also realize this. You think about those rideshare companies, Uber and Lyft, right? The big two, right?
Mhm.
You definitely see them moving into this market, and their profit model goes sky high as a result of this, because now they don't even have to cut in a driver anymore.
Hmm.
Uber and Lyft at some point in time will be autonomous vehicles themselves on the ground.
Well,
Okay.
There's places that
They're just
Uber-
gonna cut out.
government cars.
There's places that
They're gonna
Uber-
cut out the big
Government
unknown.
GPS,
There's
cashless.
places.
They're giving the money directly to the government. That's always going to be there.
There's places that Uber is completely banned though.
Oh yeah, a lot of.
Oh yeah,
Outside of this country,
Yes,
if you travel
Oh,
this
yeah.
world, you will
because in
see.
Europe they're
no
heavy into
Uber.
their unions.
Yeah. They have
You
signs
bring-
up,
you got
no
a union,
Uber.
And you got guys coming in with this shit with Uber leaving passengers on the other side of the street instead of dropping them off in front of their location. It's weird, man. I don't use them.
I've seen it. I've been
well,
outside
remember
of the States.
Uber in this city is not what it was. You know, people thought, hey, I'm just going to go out on the weekend and I'm going to go drive and make money. No, if you're going to do that, then you're going to go work for Uber Eats. Because in New York City, for those of you that aren't from New York
That's
City,
crazy.
in order to drive a cab in New York City, you have to have a hack license, regardless of whether it's an Uber. Okay. And now these guys,
Yes.
they get these leases. Now it's not a lease like you or I would get, right? These are commercial leases on vehicles because they're putting 60,000 miles on in a single year. They're upside down before they turn on that key, man. They,
Right.
you know, the amount of hours you have to drive to earn a livable wage, okay,
It's
it's
crazy.
backbreaking.
It's
It really
crazy.
is. It's a tough
Seriously.
business, man. It's a tough business.
You know how many New York
know?
City, and Tom, you know this, how many New York City taxi cab medallion owners have committed suicide because they paid for that, they had that medallion and they just
And
can't afford.
it went from they financed that medallion thinking this was going to be their nest egg,
Right,
and you know,
right.
and all of a sudden
Every year you hear about
the
it.
rug got pulled out from under them. It went from
Sometimes
being
own
valued
more
at
than one car.
over $1 million to well, think about it. You own 4 or 5 cars. You worked your way up, right? All of a sudden now, you're worth. You know, you can't even pay your bills anymore. It's sad. But you know, see, I see it happening. Getting back to the story, I see it happening quicker in the sky than I see autonomous vehicles on the ground. Because I've always said the problem with autonomous vehicles on the ground is non-autonomous vehicles. Okay?
Right.
If you could control the non-autonomous vehicles, then
Right.
autonomous vehicles
And
would just
that's where the error factor
explode.
comes in.
It would just explode. Yeah, but you can't keep other people from running into them. Okay?
That's where the error factor comes in. Non-autonomous with autonomous, and for them to get a system to work, it's going to take some time.
Well,
I
you know, the
mean,
thing with those tractor trailers is the amount of technology they put in them to
Yeah.
make them as safe as they drive right now is, of course, these autonomous vehicles have to be 1,000 times smarter and more acute than a human driver, because it's got to predict what a
Well, I know
human
one
driver is
thing.
going to do next.
I know one thing. 200, 300 years from now, it's going to be a lonely world with all those little geniuses that have created all of those things when all of the people disappear.
It's a conspiracy, Herman. I agree with you. We're
I'm
going down a
seriously,
bad
because-
road.
No,
In about
because
500,
if you
600 years,
if your
I'd
brain
be really
is so
pissed.
big that you're creating this technology that's eliminating people, somebody's got to, you got to pay bills. How are you going to do it without working? How are you going to do it? If you keep eliminating these jobs from people, our country doesn't even want to manufacture anything anymore.
I
Can you
know,
imagine if we keep
and that's sad.
Now with the unions, with them crooked ass unions,
Well,
we keep
you know
going
what?
through this nonsense?
It's not all about the
How's
unions,
that?
though.
No, it's not the unions.
It's about profit, and we're capitalists. Okay, so as capitalists, we look for profit, and what do? We look for the biggest margin we can get our hands on, and if that bigger margin means we
It's
offshore
sad but
all our
true, Tom.
production,
It's
Yeah.
okay.
really
So
sad.
what should happen? And look, I'll be very clear. Company like Apple, right? I just bought an iPad for the wife. Hers was going on the fritz. I ordered it. Came from China. Okay.
Right.
The Apple 8th Gen iPad came from China.
Mhm.
Now, tell me this. You can't tell me that Apple doesn't get tax incentives and tax breaks, okay?
For doing
Both
what they're
on
doing.
property taxes and all these other things, right?
Mhm.
That are tied to federal subsidies. All these big companies have their hand in the till. So why don't you say to them, you want to keep your hand in the till? Then 25% of your manufacturing has to come onshore, or at very least on continent, okay? So that you have some control over it. But I think it's a lost cause at this point, because you let so much go offshore.
That the
It's hard.
infrastructure is
It's
not
hard
even-
to get it back now,
Listen,
and you don't ever get all of it back.
Tom,
not possible, not in a
it'll be
globalized economy.
decades before we get
families a long generation of longshoremen.
states back to the way it used to be, made in America. It's going to take decades, and you know this because first we have to educate the people here. And too many people think you can go out and get a $60,000 a year job with the GED, and therein lies the problem. Whereas other countries, people know you need that college
You
education.
can't get a
hands-on experience
$60,000
to go anywhere.
job with a Bachelor of Arts degree, okay? That you just spent $120,000 on.
Sure you can.
Yeah, went into debt.
You can. So Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can't. How?
It's called construction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree
You
with
get
you on
with a
that.
good
But
company, a good electrical company, you making more than that. Like I've done.
wait, my mommy paid for me to get into a degree on foreign arts. Why? You gonna make me work a construction site now? My hands aren't made for that, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I'm just
You
saying
know
that.
what it comes down? It comes down to what
Well,
we've been
go
talking
ahead
about
and be
all
a
the
burden
time.
to somebody.
You got to give. You got to
Let me tell you
expose.
something.
You got to expose
I-
kids to everything
Tom,
while they're in school.
Back to
so they
vocational
understand
high
what
schools.
it is.
Open back to vocational high schools. Put the vocational back in the high schools. Because everybody don't want to be on Wall Street. Some people want to work with these and put no lotion on and call Ashley Larry. You know what I mean? And make a good living and own a
They
house.
have them rated. Just the
Yeah,
programs are
not like they
crippled.
used to, Herb. Not like they used to, bro. I'm sorry.
The programs are
Make a good
crippled.
living.
Yeah, but this is what they're supposed to be bringing back. You want to help these kids and get out the streets? Bring the vocational back in the schools, man.
Look,
All right. Tom, you went to one. I went to one. You know.
I used to coach at automotive.
Yeah, that too.
The building is not even. It's not even half full.
Right. Right.
No,
The
no,
program is not what it used to be.
Yeah, because they
still
bring it back.
have guys that,
No
that
investment.
have their, their degree, their certificate, and their mechanics, but it's not like it used to be. You talking about
tell these kids,
automotive? They don't even have driver's ed.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. I got my license in high school. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Bring all that stuff back. Make it easy for these kids. Nobody want to wait on the long ass line in motor vehicle no more.
Let's chip in.
You know?
I agree with Welsh Rob. You see what he said?
What you say, Rob?
We got to buy you a microphone, dude.
No, but you hear me though.
You're killing us.
Yeah,
you're over-modulating like a maniac.
But you heard me though. It's better than me slowing down when you be sounding like a robot.
I got to.
At least I got good internet. Shit.
Ray's so loud, I can't even hear the text. I can't read the chat.
This thing to get your work done, you gotta be loud sometimes.
Stop shouting! Stop shouting!
Ding ding ding! Round 3.
Stevie, stop starting shit.
Hey, Stevie's just keeping score.
I'm keeping score. Yeah.
It's either Stevie's keeping score or he's going to put on a bikini and walk around with
no, I'll just
with
keep
the round
score.
card.
Okay,
good. Thank you, Steve.
Okay.
No, but Stevie, you got to keep your finger on the scroll.
Yeah, raising your hand don't even work no more in this group. It's just gotta get to talk.
Yeah, you caught that, right, Welsh Rob? I know you saw me reaching for the volume button.
You gotta jump in when you fit in.
No, but honestly, about all the changes, we're gonna have to just learn how to survive, right? Because all this technology is moving so fast, faster than ever now. So in order for this country to survive, I'm talking about the next generation, there's gonna be jobs that don't exist right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Because this technology is moving so fast.
Well, that's what the story.
But Stevie, we have to invest in that
mentioning.
Education.
Herman,
I mean, if you want a solid foundation, construction is always great. Electrical, all that stuff that's involved in building, that's never going to go away, right? It's going to be a long time.
It's not, but Stevie. But
outside of that, if you want to keep up with the technology, you have to do like what you guys are doing and maybe bring that to the kids' attention. You have kids in your house, etc. Show them what you finding and show them these changes. And maybe you spark some interest in these kids.
But hold on 1 second, Tom. Let me interject. Stevie, the opportunity is slowly coming around because right now in high schools and colleges, they're teaching nanotechnology. How many people do you personally know that are interested in nanotechnology? And this is where things are going. As things get smaller, you remember the brick phone from Magnum PI?
Yeah. I remember the MASH.
The brick phone has turned into this. There's nanotechnology.
Dude, I owned one.
There are technologies out there that are being offered by colleges, but people are not interested. And we have to get people.
Hold on. I'm on a live stream.
Okay. So look. Here's the problem. You don't introduce enough choices to kids.
Exactly.
You don't tell a kid what he's going to be. You ask a kid what he's interested in. Okay?
Yeah,
and we don't do that. And the thing is, All these kids aren't destined for tech jobs.
No.
Okay, we know
True.
that.
Yep.
All of them don't have the capability of it. So what do you do about them? Well, you know what? You don't leave them out in the cold. You expose kids to as wide a range as possible. We have this antiquated way of dealing with educating our kids. We put them in a classroom. We dictate to them what they have to learn, okay? Which is the same shit that we've been learning for decades, and it's not getting us anywhere. And then we
Right.
say, okay, now go home and do 2-3 hours worth of schoolwork, okay? No, that's not the way it's done anymore. You look at where we stand in the world in education, okay? We're in the high 40s. You look at a country like Norway or Finland, okay? They're 1 and 2. Why? Because they, first off, the kids go to school for almost a 10-hour day. It's not a 10 hours worth of classroom. They only
Right.
do a couple of hours worth of
You
classroom.
have to have
And then
hands-on.
it's unstructured, experimental. Expose them to this, expose them to that.
Practical.
And when they get home, there's no classwork at home because they want them also to develop family unit. They want them to socialize. They want them to interact and discuss. And there's more learning that happens
Well,
rehashing your experiences than
There was
being dictated to.
there was a
Well, what I
study
will tell
about
you,
that.
talking about
Get
things in the school and how we keep teaching the same things, there are things that will never change.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's
Mathematics and
foundational items.
science will always be the same. It will always be the same. It's
But we
not,
introduce
science is
nothing to them
No, I
that they can
understand.
tie that into.
You're
No,
right.
you're
We
absolutely right. And I told you
We
that
sat
before.
through algebra and we said why.
Right. And I told you
Okay.
that before. It wasn't until when I got my job
Exactly.
and then I
that you
had
were
to
able
go to school
apply
for it.
Right.
And then I realized what they taught me when I was 12 years old, and now when I'm supposed to apply it now at 25, 30 years old.
So I got,
Right.
I turned around and I took a course on programming because, back in the day, I was running my own little business as my side gig, and it was an online business early on when online was just starting. And I wanted to make sure the people who were working on my sites and stuff weren't taking me for a song and a dance. So I figured I'll go back to school. So I went back to school to learn C++ and Java. Well, I could not get it. I was struggling. I was struggling until they changed one of the instructors, and the new instructor came in and said, "Hey, I'm going to take a different approach. We're going to build an ATM machine." And what he did was he made it more practical now. He related it to real world. He related it to so we could understand the various logical components we were building and how they fit into the process and how, each one was able to put a piece of the puzzle together. And that's what has to happen at the very basic level, at the grammar school level. Start exposing them to different things. And when you notice a change in a student, take advantage of that. And they can't all be brought along at the same speed. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Incorporate
We
it.
don't all learn at the
Right.
same speed.
When Lawrence was talking about that article, the one that was in Drone Life, and they were saying that in advanced airspace mobility, they're projected to, here in the United States, of $115 billion, and by 2035, and you're talking about over 280,000 jobs that it could create.
Yeah.
It's not
work.
what we're doing today, but it's the next. It's something new where we're going with this world. Like I said, a lot of the stuff we talk about here, maybe none of us on this panel ever lived to see it in its full stage and fruition. It took a long time. We've been watching the Jetsons from when we were how old, and now we're starting to hear about people working on something of this technology.
Yeah. Well, again, these jobs are going to be created, right? Now, the question is, do we want our kids filling those jobs, or we want others to come in to fill them instead?
Exactly.
And the question is, if we don't prepare our kids, they won't have options, and that's all.
Tom, I agree 100%.
I mean, that's all I ever tried to do
Yeah.
was give my kids options.
The way you give your kids options, my grandfather
Our
was
medical
considered
world is
back
like
in the
that,
day
bro.
a jack of all trades. He knew plumbing, he knew electrical, he knew carpentry, and he told me, learn everything you possibly can, because he saw I used to like reading. I got bored and started reading the encyclopedia because we didn't have the internet back then. Okay,
Yeah.
but the point that I'm making is he always instilled in me, and I saw it through him, to always learn different things. This way, if this doesn't work, you have plan B. If plan B doesn't work, you have plan C.
Fallbacks.
But you can always have something to fall back on. And unfortunately, the views and opinions that are heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel, but unfortunately, the parents of today are suck at
We
trying to
clear
make the future
every
better.
obstacle.
They
We
suck
clear
at trying to
every
make the future
obstacle
better.
in front of our kids, so they have no conflict. Well, guess
Yeah.
what we're setting them up for? Failure. Because if they don't learn how to deal with conflict, how are they going to learn how to resolve conflict? Okay.
But you know why? Because they're teaching them how to deal with conflicts by
Hey,
saying,
well, Oscar
okay,
likes our
if this happens to you,
Call a
this is what
lawnmower
you're
man.
supposed to do. And as opposed to back in the day when I ran into a situation and something happened, you had to deal with it then and there. I didn't run home
yeah,
to mommy
but
and say, mommy,
it's
someone's
we.
bothering me.
It's
You
hard to
understand?
now. You know, we are the result of what our parents did for us, and our kids are the result of what we did to them or for them.
For
That's the
them?
question to be answered.
Yeah.
To them or for them.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
them
question to
is
be
the
answered.
key word.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, not
yeah,
you know,
for
you can't
them.
fix the world.
What's
and,
good, Matt?
Not everybody's parents were
Good
kicking in
night.
when they had to. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
was lucky. I was
And
lucky.
that's
I
sad.
got
It's sad,
dragged.
but true.
I got dragged into works to my dad's job. I got to see a lot of things. I helped with carpentry. I helped with electronics when he used to fix the TV. So I learned how to solder and all that
That's
stuff.
how I was raised too, Stevie.
Yeah, like anything goes wrong in my house, I fix it myself. I don't call no contractors. I paint. I know how to skim, sheetrock, plaster.
Exactly.
I know how to. I do everything.
Exactly.
But what I did was I passed that on.
Only
when
thing
I'm
I don't mess with is electricity.
When I'm hanging a shelf, when I'm hanging a shelf,
why people say that.
Yeah.
when I'm hanging a shelf, my kids are right behind me.
Like anything, Hunter, disrespect it.
Yeah.
They know
exactly.
They know the difference
That's
between
the
a
way to do
Phillips
it,
and a
Steve.
flathead screwdriver.
Yeah.
When we built bikes together, I have taken a bike that was a junky bike and we rebuilt the bike like a regular bicycle. I'm talking about, like you know, old school stuff. So they don't have to.
I started with bikes when I was a kid.
We make them order food. Like there's simple things that kids this generation, you tell them order some pizza and they look at the phone like they don't even know how to talk on the phone to communicate with other people. You understand what I'm saying? They stuck behind the games and all the stuff. Everything, like Tom said, I expose them to everything. See what sticks to the wall. Even when we were out before COVID, I didn't know what sport he's gonna be into. I had him in mixed martial arts since he was 4, my son. He started to not like the confrontation, that stuff. That's fine, you know. But I brought him to soccer, basketball, everything. I didn't force one thing. I just exposed them to everything.
But you gave them options. You gave them options.
Except for the martial arts.
About.
Because we in New York. I was like, you got to be able to handle your hands, bro.
But Stevie,
you got to know how to hem somebody up.
It's options. You have to give children options
and Tom
make them think it's their idea.
Yeah, and that's the key. Like Tom said, you got to expose them to everything and see what sticks. Because if they find something they like, you can't lose. Because if you're doing something you like, you're not gonna quit. If you're doing something that's forced.
But Stevie, a lot of these parents, they haven't been exposed to nothing either, so it's hard for them to expose kids.
No, it's hard. It's hard.
So you talking about a trust right there. Trust me when I know. I run a nonprofit, and I can tell you that, man.
And that's why I started my conversation or my statement by saying, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have those parents.
Right.
Because I grew up in the Bronx. Most of my friends that were my age, and I used to go over their house. they had no foundation, they had no stability, they had nothing, they had nobody to look out for them. You
But that's the places you like to hang out, though, right?
I feel.
Come on, keep it 100. Everybody want to go out. They want to go to his house. You can play with girls over there.
No, but actually, I tell you, I got pictures from the.
Look at those two guys running in lawns. How they laughing over there?
Nah. I understand what you're saying, but if you see pictures of my childhood, most of the kids used to come over my house. They used to love coming over my house because my parents were so inviting. I had all the kids from my projects just chilling in my living room, and my parents would feed them, and we would set up the computers in the living room, and everybody would get on the computers. They used to play Counter-Strike. Remember Counter-Strike?
I remember.
So playing all my brothers were whiz with computers because my dad was very sharp, and they used to network all the computers before Xbox Live. They used to all be in my living room on different computers in one room, and then they're playing
a game.
Yeah.
Right now, listen to you, Stevie.
Hey, Stevie, my first computer was a calculator in high school. Okay.
It's true, though. It's true, Tom.
Look. Here's the one thing I'll say.
Calculator on it.
By not investing in your kids, by not investing in your kids, you miss out on one thing. Okay, and he's coming from a parent with grown children. When your kids find their way, there's no better satisfaction in the world, man.
Mm-hmm.
When your kids find their way and they can raise their own families, okay, and provide
right now,
some
I
quality
only pray,
of life.
Tom.
It's that's what you pray for, and that's when you feel blessed when it happens, okay. And that gratification is taken away from a lot of parents because they don't invest, they don't take the time, or they clear too many obstacles in their kids to where their kids can never succeed without them. And that can be selfish in a way too. Okay. You don't want to do that to your kids. You want to, because, well, you're going to be there forever.
Mm-hmm.
So don't set your kids up for failure. Invest in them. Stevie, man, you're going down. Your kids are going to live a wonderful life, man, because, of the great parenting they have.
You know what? It's
and I say that without reluctance,
Tom,
because I've seen you with your son, and that's a great relationship, man.
Tom, it's a dying breed to see parents doing something constructive other than eating in Red Lobster with their kids.
Listen, when I go to a drone meetup, like when I went to meet with Tom, we pull up with Jedi lightsabers and drones so we can have our little intermission. Because I don't ignore him. I tell him I'm going to go fly with my buddies, but I try to find balance. I always teach some balance, I don't put my back to him. So, I fly around and he plays around, but then between batteries is his time. And I spend my time with him like Tom was.
Because that's how you were raised and that's what you were taught. But I feel so bad for what they call Generation X, and they call them Generation X because it's unknown what's going to happen to this generation. Half of them can't tell time on a clock unless it's digital.
So I don't teach it no more.
Right. They don't teach them script in the schools. I'm like,
they know how to write their name
you
either.
can write right now. If you put 3 marks across a page, you can call that your signature because they don't teach them script anymore.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that
in school. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We learned how to write English in print, and then we were taught script because in the business world, right, in the business world, you were told to sign a check.
Generation Z. That's Generation Z we're talking
in the
about.
Building.
Because you are Generation X. Do you realize that?
I don't know what you're talking about, Tom.
Okay, I'm only telling you that because I'm the fact checker, dude. I'm the AP here, okay? You're talking about Generation Z. You, by the way, what year were you born in?
63.
Okay, you're a boomer. But who here is born in 65 or later?
My wife.
Okay, wife. Guess what? He's talking about you, Herman.
Yeah.
You have direction. You're Generation X, Herman. Okay.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Hey, listen, Tom.
Come on. That's why we're all here.
For every piece of coal that's crushed, you don't always get a diamond. Herman's a diamond.
Look,
Okay.
Generation
Oh, man.
Z, we're talking about those 1996s to now, okay?
Right.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
That's
what
who
he's
we're talking
talking
about.
about. That's what he meant.
And remember, you're a boomer. I'm a boomer. You realize that's a disparaging comment now, right?
Listen, stop before they start turning to another channel.
So about those
Listen,
drones.
because they're gonna sit there and say, "Wait a minute, I was born in." Wait a minute, you know.
Yeah,
it gives
baby.
it gives them something
No,
to think
but
about.
you know what's funny? You know, Lawrence, you know how Jalen is. I used to take Jalen with me to practice.
Big Matt, you just
And
wrong.
I can't do that anymore.
You just
I couldn't
wrong.
do
They
it
can
when he
write
was
their
younger.
name
I had to
Pookie,
stop.
Little Ray Ray.
Because he would, like, when I'm getting on the guys and I'm trying to get them to do what I need them to do, he would always start yelling at the linemen, telling them they can't do it because they got fat bellies and this, that, and the
Oh,
other. And I'm
wow.
like- and I'm like, yo, you ride, yo, you get out of here. Yo, can you imagine that though? Tom, a
Yeah,
little
that's
kid and
crazy.
he's riding
Herman.
these big high school kids.
Herman,
Yeah,
is it hold on, Tom? Is it appropriate for you, Herman, to tell the Fatsma joke?
Oh,
Listen to this.
we had
Oh, my
we had a kid, and the kid was complaining like 3 minutes into the training. And I said to him, I was like, "You all right? What's the matter?" So one of the other coaches said to me, "He's all right. He's just got phasma." I was like, "You know, you wrong." It's like-
It 3 minutes. Think about it. 3 minutes into
said-
practice.
he said we all had phasma when we was younger and out of shape.
Oh, wow.
Yo, that I know exactly what you mean.
You know what
That
phasma
was
is?
cold blooded, man.
Fat asthma. You get
Fat
a
asthma.
lot of the linemen and stuff like that
Yeah.
that have those
Yeah,
issues
yeah. But
because you didn't run all summer.
But it's unfortunate that we're stuck in the middle of this, because I would seriously like to see where man would be 15, 20 years from now. And you have to think about it. You can't get a cashier to bring you the proper sandwich in the store now, and you're paying for it because that person has whatever issues they may. I imagine what it's going to look like in the future.
Well, I'll tell you this, Lawrence. So you got that generation that you're talking about. What was
Yeah.
it?
Z, by the way, Z.
Yeah, Z. They're gonna have you doing all kind of stupid shit and devaluating your dollar. Like I told you this before.
Sad but true.
For the amount of money that they charge for that slop at McDonald's, I'm not going to that kiosk. You're gonna ring it up. You're gonna put it in the bag with some napkins and some ketchup, and I'll leave with it. But I'm not going to that kiosk for the amount of money that I pay for it.
Yeah. Well,
you don't get a discount when you go to the kiosk and cashier out yourself? No.
Oh, it's just like at the supermarket that the line.
You got to bag yourself. You got to check yourself out.
Like, nah,
You got to arrest yourself for shoplifting.
Not going to self checkout.
Tom said, "Arrest yourself for shoplifting."
I mean, you got to do it all now. Okay.
Eventually.
If you want
when
it
I
done
go
right,
to Home Depot,
if you want it done it right.
when I go to Home Depot, I got to tell the Home Depot guy what their inventory is. Hey, I need this.
Yeah,
I don't think we have
Tom.
it. Yeah, but it says you have 14 of these in
Yeah.
section B8.
You know what?
Hey, that
Okay.
happened to me not too long ago.
I
I had
think
to
it's
like
like
show him
constant.
his
It's
own
regular thing.
store. I had to show him his
Sure.
own store. Like, look, you have 2 more left.
I think the people who work in Home Depot have a little screen, and when you're coming to their department, they just run.
They got like
They have a screen that tells
like
you where the
Pac-Man?
customers are located, so
Pac-Man?
they can be somewhere else.
When the customers are coming, let me get out of here.
Exactly. Got to get out of here. Got to get out of here. Yeah, I know. Well, now all you see,
Home
they're all
desperate.
traffic cops now. Okay, next line over there.
Yeah, they closed
Cash
that
or
gate.
debit. Cash or debit. That way. That way. That's all it is now.
Home desperate.
Okay.
You got to be
They
desperate.
got to
if you
get
go in
those light sticks so they can bring you in and target you where you got to go. You know. Same thing in Walmart now too, with their checkouts.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to Walmart,
Mhm.
and I appreciate the.
Oh, I go to
greeting.
Walmart for the
No,
entertainment
Tom,
value, dude.
Tom, I'm saying this.
You don't
from the
even
heart.
need to shop there.
Hold
Just
on,
go
Tom.
from the entertainment value.
I'm saying this from the heart. I appreciate the greeting at the door, but stop putting handicapped people at the door. Seriously, I appreciate the greeting, but if it's The
Damn,
point
Lawrence.
you may be
Damn.
missing the point I'm trying to make. Hold on.
Okay,
Alex,
the
miss-
views and
no, hold on,
opinions.
Tom,
Hey,
Tom,
yeah, yeah,
Tom.
yeah.
Views and
Read it.
opinions.
Read that thing again.
Read
No,
I'm
it.
afraid. Are you sure
Hold
you
on,
want
you're
to
missing
finish
my
this?
point.
Hold
You're
on.
missing my point.
Lawrence is at
It's
it again.
not
I'll call you back.
Walmart's trademark to put someone handicapped at the door when they can be on the floor doing something else. That's my point. But you walk in their stores and it's some stores are almost like a tearjerker. I'm sorry. I'm being honest about it.
Okay,
Herman
the
and the
views and
stream.
opinions.
That's
And
that's
Herman
the,
and the stream.
that's the New York
You're
Hey,
edge.
look,
missing my
Herman.
point. You're missing my point, but
Herman,
but-
I want it to come across the screen now when this happens. Okay,
The disclaimer.
I want a ticket coming acroross the screen. Okay,
I'm trying to be honest about this. I don't feel that the
kinda-
only place in Walmart is
It's
greeting
a
people at
comfort
the
level.
door
I
for
get it.
handicapped people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm trying to get you to see what I see. Just because you're a company and you get a tax write-off for hiring handicaps doesn't mean they can only be door greeters.
I plead the fifth.
Well, I got what you're saying.
The fifth.
I understand what you're saying.
Oh no, I mean, look,
You want them in
You-
the back
you
of the
put- you put
pharmacy
people-
and
you
in
put
the back
people
slicing
where
meat.
Exactly.
right. You put people where they can serve the best
Right. Well,
To
to
the
I
the
told
business
you,
also,
Lawrence,
and that
I mean, I don't.
it just might be, Lawrence, that is the right position for some of those people. Okay, maybe.
What's up,
Herman
Night
in
Train?
the stream.
Well,
Hey, Night Train.
Okay.
well,
In the
Tom,
Night
stream,
Train.
Herman.
honestly, when I was in college, I worked at Burger King,
Love you, Lawrence.
and
Long time, baby.
we had this one
Oh, man.
woman there. She
Thank
was
you, Night
autistic,
Train. You get it.
and she worked on the board making burgers. She knew how to make every damn thing in that restaurant, and she made it better than anyone in there.
Right.
You know, yes.
You know, I don't take
Tom
anything
is
away from
quiet.
anybody.
No, you know what it is?
I don't want to touch it.
I have I have to relate a story real quick. I'm sorry,
Uh-oh.
guys. I gotta. It's my older brother, who is a physician. When he first got out of school, he got out as a psychologist, and he worked with the mentally challenged. And he happened upon an institution that he was just devastated, having to deal with the situation there, and nobody would listen until he got Geraldo Rivera, a news reporter, involved.
Uh-huh.
And an expose was done on the Willowbrook Institute in Staten Island and how these mentally challenged adults were being treated. My brother went on to open up a series of houses throughout neighborhoods. And unfortunately, in New York City, the only neighborhoods he could open them up were in depressed neighborhoods, because the ritzy neighborhoods didn't want these people around them. He
Right.
set up group homes to where he would take these mentally challenged adults, and based upon their skills, some would work outside the home, and others that couldn't would have chores within the home. And it gave them a sense of self-worth. And actually,
We have one down the street.
into my early adult life going on, our family holidays, our family Thanksgivings and Christmases, he would always bring a resident or two to my parents' home. So, and
Right.
our kids were exposed to that, and just to see, and if you've ever had somebody challenge your own family, there's value there. There's value there, right? And I agree with you. My older cousin, who had both CP and he was mentally challenged, his greatest reward in life was working. He loved it.
Right.
Couldn't get enough of it. You could ask him to go to walk 20 miles just to get to work, he would. And he felt a sense of obligation. And when you're fortunate to have those individuals in your workforce, you are exactly that, blessed and fortunate. So,
It's
just my 2 cents on it.
Mhm.
Okay. And you were going down that right road.
maybe the way I said
there
it
are
came
so
out a
many
little wrong.
jobs.
Maybe the way I said it
I know
didn't
there
come
are
out
so
the way
many
I wanted.
jobs.
We know what you meant, Lawrence.
Yeah. There are
Yeah.
so many jobs that And Walmart does employ them in a great number of different jobs. They're a
Yes,
big employer
yes.
of the both mental and physically challenged individuals. But you know, there are opportunities all over. There's one restaurant I used to go to that, like you said, Herman. You know, the one woman there as wait staff, she definitely challenged, but
I actually
man,
like
was she
working with her.
meticulous and so thoughtful, and absolutely, man, absolutely.
Because
You know, it's just
if anybody
comfort
fell
level
behind,
people
she
have
picked up
trouble
the slack.
dealing with.
She
What's
was
that, Herman?
very efficient
Yeah.
and good at it.
Yeah.
No, the woman I'm talking about, she was very efficient and she was very good at what she did. You know, if anybody had problems, you would figure like
Yeah.
she was the one that was helping everybody.
Well, in fact, on my job in we have in our technologies group, we have this program called 55A for the city, which is to hire some individuals that have
Thank you,
different
Johnny
challenges.
Drones.
And you know, we have a couple of individuals that are on the spectrum, and they are phenomenal technicians. Okay.
You see what Global
So
Drones
meticulous.
put?
Thank you, Global Drones.
Thank you,
They're so
guys.
thoughtful.
Enjoyed a variety of subjects centered on droning. Good night. Have a great night, Global Drones.
Yeah,
We
we're about
appreciate
to
you.
Have a good one, Global
we're
Drones.
about to get out
Yeah,
of
look
here
at the time,
too. We're
man.
right behind you. It's that
7:07.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that time. But you know, guys, you know, thanks for hanging out this evening and with this discussion. I think it went well tonight,
Yeah, we veer off in 20
Yeah.
different directions, but
But
that's who I am.
that's what conversation is about.
That's the attention span, dude.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
and you guys in the chat, I'd like to thank you for coming and hanging out with us and listening to us talk and act a fool from time to time.
Absolutely. If we can't, what's the sense of it?
Right. Hey, that's what conversation, like I said, is about. Thank you once again. Without you, none of this would be possible. And I'll see you next time on Phantom Flight
Absolutely,
101
Boss Girls.
Bye.
Take care,
with
all.
those guys.
Those
Good
guys.
night, everyone.